Only senior brother would be considered handsome, blocking over 1,000 demon beasts by himself, and scaring away all those people from East Skygate tribe. That's what he calls handsome. Several female disciples said, when Tang Lai appeared, he coincidentally helped Goddess Sect to survive a crisis. They would never forget that scene until now. It was exactly blocking 1,000 demon beasts by himself, while also causing the disciples of the East Skygate tribe to be scared *T out of their wits, which was a huge impact to their minds. That's what you call handsome. Long Fei is not handsome. This is suicide. Mu Bing did not explain himself, but quietly looked at Long Fei. At this moment, Long Fei still did not have the intention to move. He stood at his original position and quietly looked at the towering tree that was charging towards him. Shards flew everywhere. As strength stripes flew out, their penetrating power was extremely strong. He was like an arrow shooting forward. Long Fei sneered. God's armor. Buzz. The God's armor's defense was activated. Bang, bang, bang. Just like a machine gun. He heavily smashed onto Long Fei's body, but he did not receive any damage. The 10,000 points of defensive armor was not blown out. These stones could not harm Long Fei at all. The surrounding people were all dumbfounded. The 8 winds really did not move. There was nothing to fear. How cool! As the rocks fell, the towering tree also instantly smashed towards Long Fei, but he still stood in his original spot. Kacha kacha, kacha kacha. The towering tree that was charging towards Long Fei stopped right in front of him, as if everything was fine. Wow, Mu Bing cried out. What do you mean handsome? That's what you call handsome. Too cool. You calculated your strength perfectly. Too cool. Chapter 17:21. Handsome's Dregs. Chapter 17:21. Handsome's Dregs Mu Bing was just like a little girl who had been subdued. It was called excitement. Although the surrounding disciples did not admit it, they couldn't help but feel that Long Fei's calm expression was a little handsome. Lu Qin slightly asked, "What's so handsome about that?" "It's just a big tree, that's all. Monster Army will immediately attack. At that time I'll see how he can defend against it. Senior Sister Lu, he died today, so you don't have to warm his bed tonight. Hee. Exactly. It would be best if he died." Mu Bing said, "Do you guys really like seeing Sect Master die that much? Can't you see that the Sect Master is very strong? Can't you tell that Sect Master's heart is very kind? Junior Sister Mu, did you get brainwashed by him? He's a rapist. If he continues to stay in our goddess sect, his demon claw will extend to us. At that time, our goddess sect will no longer be called goddess sect and will directly become a sect of thieves." Exactly. Men don't have any good things. Everyone immediately said. Lu Qin squinted as he looked at the distant Long Fei. Suddenly, Lu Qin's eyes shook and said, "They're here." Everyone held their breath as they looked over. At this moment, roar! An incomparably ferocious demon beast suddenly leaped up and landed on that towering tree, opening its mouth and releasing an incomparably arrogant roar at Long Fei, who was beneath the tree. The strong wind raged. Long Fei's hair was in a mess, and her long white hair flew wildly. The powerful demon beast roared as it attacked with its powerful sound waves. The eardrums hurt. The sound waves rushed at his body like a knife cutting through it. A man wearing a demon beast mask sat on the back of the demon beast. The man held a strange magic staff in his hands, pointed at Long Fei and shouted, "Little bastard, scram to the side." He raised his gaze, staring at the old granny in the distance. He said loudly, "Old granny, if you don't hand over the goddess scroll today, I will make all you goddess sects rats die." Ha ha ha. "Elder, it's such a pity to die. Give it to us. We'll let him know how happy he is to be a woman." Ha ha. All the East Sky Gate tribe disciples started laughing loudly. At this moment, Long Fei said coldly, "As a man, I like to give others a chance, and you guys are also a portion apart. Now bring your men and leave. You are not allowed to invade the goddess sect. I will not let anything that happened today happen to me." Huh. The man on top of the demon beast looked at Long Fei. "Poochie? Ha ha ha. Ha ha ha. Ha ha ha." The surrounding people all laughed. Lu Qin said in disdain, "Does he want to kick out the people from the East Sky Gate tribe just like that? What's going on in his head?" "I really don't know." "Exactly. There is not a single good person in the East Sky Gate tribe." "Junior Sister Mubing, is he that handsome now?" "Not at all." The grandma's eyes opened wide as she hollered, "Ridiculing our sect master. Today, even if I have to risk my life, I will tear you apart." As soon as he finished, the surrounding laughter stopped. The man on the demon beast looked at the old granny, then looked at Long Fei. "Sect master? He is the sect master of your goddess sect." "Ha ha ha. Ha ha ha." "Brat, then you must be feeling great, right? The goddess sect's female disciples are all as beautiful as flowers and jade. Have they all been taken by you? How does the old woman behind you feel about her? I heard that she's still an old virgin. Isn't she?" "Definitely." Without waiting for the man to finish speaking, Long Fei's figure suddenly disappeared, and he shouted out, "Die!" The rage raged. The god-slaying fist. The man reacted quickly. He raised his eyes and stared at Long Fei, who was in midair, his gaze sinister as he snorted, "You overestimate your capabilities with your 5-star cultivation. You dare be so impudent in front of me? You're courting death." Without any hesitation, the man struck out with his palm. He did not place Long Fei in his eyes at all. He is a powerhouse of the Yellow Star realm, a mere 5-star cultivation. He was simply trash. "Die!" The man shouted. Rumble! A fist and a palm collided. Long Fei was sent flying hundreds of meters away by the powerful palm force. A 3-digit number of damage floated above his head as well. Bam! His body crashed into a large tree and fell to the ground. "Ha ha ha. Ha ha ha." "A weak lame duck. Old Granny, is this your goddess sect leader? I think it's you who called this scapegoat over, right?" "Ha ha ha." The disciples of the East Sky Gate tribe laughed wildly. Lu Qin's eyes darkened and said with a low voice, "How can a 5-star realm be a match for the Yellow Star powerhouse? I really don't know what he is thinking. To think that we would have to fight him head on. Isn't that just courting death? This is too embarrassing. Goddess sect has lost all his face. Junior Sister Mubing, is he still handsome? Being sent flying several hundred meters by a single palm, such a weak man can't even compare to senior brother Tang." Exactly. The disciples of the goddess sect all looked down on Long Fei a little. It was not because Long Fei was weak, but because he overestimated his own strength. No matter how strong a 5-star warrior was, they would never be able to defeat an elder of the East Sky Gate tribe. The difference in levels was simply too great. The old granny's dragon, head staff trembled, ready to fly into a rage. At this moment, Long Fei crawled up from the ground. He wiped the blood off the corner of his mouth and asked, "You are overestimating yourself." He. "The one who is overestimating himself is you." As soon as he finished, without
Boom.
any warning,
Boom.
his arm exploded.
Boom.
The man was so
palm
scared
suddenly
that his
exploded.
face turned pale.
Unfathomable.
And he gulped down a bunch of pills. What the hell is this? What is this? Boom. Boom. In the end, his head exploded and chunks of flesh and blood flew into the air. Blasting fist. What he needed was an explosion. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for killing elder of East Sky Gate Tribe, for obtaining 18,000 experience, 1,500 holy power value, and 1 abnormal value. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining. If it wasn't for the boss, Long Fei wouldn't even be interested in using his abnormal energy. Abnormal energy was left for the boss. He suddenly exploded and died. Even the demon beast beneath him didn't have time to react, and had a stupefied expression on its face. The surrounding East Sky Gate tribe disciples, goddess sect disciples, and even the old granny were all dumbfounded. They could not understand at all. Wasn't that too terrifying? Mu Bing laughed excitedly. I'm just asking if you're all handsome. Aren't you all? He. I knew it. He must be extremely handsome. Lu Qin was dumbstruck. The old granny looked at Long Fei, thinking back to the scene of Long Fei taking care of Tang Lai, and also thinking back to the power of his fist just now. So, I saved Tang Lai's life. Our sect's commander is such a loser. The disciples of the goddess sect were all excited. People are like that. Whether it was men or women, in this world, they couldn't help but admire the powerhouse. This was the charm of the powerhouse. A young female disciple giggled. It seems like you are going to warm the bed for sect master. He. All the female disciples looked at her. She immediately blushed and lowered her head, not daring to speak. Following that, everyone looked at Lu Qin, because she lost to the sect master and had to warm the master's bed at night. Lu Qin's eyes moved and said, "What are you looking at? I don't want to warm his bed." So what if he defeated East Sky Gate Tribe? He said stubbornly. Mu Bing stepped forward and laughed. "Senior sister, stop pretending to be pure. You must also be thinking of giving sect master a warm bed, right?" He. You, little girl, look at me. I won't tear your mouth apart and make you speak nonsense. Lu Qin blushed and chased after her. Mu Bing immediately ran over to Long Fei. "Sect leader, save me. Sect leader, save me. Senior sister Lu has bullied me." Lu Qin fantasized about marrying a great hero in his heart. She hated Long Fei's appearance. However, right now, there was a slight change in her heart. Long Fei's figure would appear in her mind from time to time, making her a little irritated and a little sweet, as if she had eaten honey. Goddess sect. The 3 days that he had agreed with Lan Mo and the others were almost up. Long Fei had to rush back to the Tianyin city. "Young master, do you have to go?" the grandma asked with some reluctance. Long Fei nodded and said, "There is something that I must do." "Right. Grandma, my mother entered the God Rare sect before." Long Fei wanted to confirm that this was the system's message for him, and that his mother had left the Devil Island. He wanted to leave this place. The sooner the better. Right now, he wished that he could enter the divine battlefield of gods immediately. He wanted to obtain the power to change everything. He wanted to take over Destiny God. The old granny said slightly, the old master established the goddess sect and left the goddess scroll behind before he found out that she had gone to God Rare sect. Whether or not he left the Devil Island, this old servant does not know. Long Fei thought, seems like the information the system has given us is correct. All right, Long Fei said, after I finish my business in Tianyin City, I will return once more. After that, I will head to God Rare sect. I want to leave this place. Before this, his mother had been able to control the laws of time, and now not to mention the power of law, it didn't even have a trace of the ability to protect itself. Mother, regardless of whether you are the system's owner or not, I will definitely find you. Long Fei muttered, and then Long Fei stepped out of the underground palace. Half an hour later, Grandma, Junior Sister Mu Bing, and Senior Sister Lu Qin have disappeared. Where did they go? Is it dangerous? The grandma smiled and said, "Ignore them." Senior Sister Lu, didn't you say that you don't want to get into bed with sect leader? Mu Bing said while grinning. Lu Qin also said, Junior Sister Mu, didn't you also say that you didn't have any relationship with the sect master at all? Then why are you here too? I want to go out and gain some experience. Mu Bing said. Lu Qin said, I'm afraid that you, this little girl, are feeling a little flustered. Do you want to be a couple with the sect master? It was said very openly. Mu Bing flushed red and said, There isn't any in Senior Sister. I can tell from one look that you're thinking of Spring. Lu Qin laughed. At this moment, Long Fei walked over, saw the two of them, and was slightly startled, and said, You two, why are you here? The two girls seemed to have discussed in advance, as they answered in unison, It was Grandma who sent us to protect you. With that, the two girls looked at each other. Mu Bing stuck out her tongue. Lu Qin, on the other hand, had a calm expression, though his palms were sweating profusely. Ugh, sure. Tianyan City needs some helpers this time. It's fine if you guys come with me. Long Fei smiled faintly and said, Then let's go together. Tianyan City. Lei Jiu brought a few Lei family disciples and quietly entered the lawn mansion. Little sister ya, I will definitely save you. Table of Contents. Table of Contents, Lawn Mansion, Conference Room. Great Clan Elder Lei, Great Clan Elder Tai, and Lan Jun. Patriarch Lan, don't worry. Our Lei family will definitely support you. Lei Wanshan said in a heavy tone. Tai Changbai immediately added, Our Tai family will also have the right to support Patriarch Lan. This is my wish, as well as my brother's, but Tai Changbai glanced at Lei Wanshan, then looked at Lan Jun and said softly, The things that Patriarch Lan has promised. Lan Jun coldly snorted in his heart, Old fox. And then his face revealed a smile and said, Elders, please be at ease. I, Lan Jun, will definitely fulfill the conditions you have promised me. In his heart, he sneered and said, Redeem it? Humph. When I am able to sit in the position of clan leader in Lan Clan, it will be your turn. With your Lei family, the Tai family still wants to be on equal footing with me. Do you have the qualifications? Lan Jun was an ambitious person. He was extremely ambitious. His target was not only the patriarch of the Lan clan, but the 10 city lords. Ha ha ha. Ha ha ha. That's good. Lei Wanshan and Tai Changbai burst into laughter. At this moment, a disciple rushed in and whispered a few words beside Lan Jun's ear. Lan Jun's lips curled up, looked at Lei Wanshan, and said, Elder Lei, a disciple from your Lei family came over. Do you want to meet him? Lei Wanshan's gaze tensed up, and then he smiled slightly. There were twice as many Lan clan guards. He came to save as Lanya, usual, right? Lan Jun looked at Lan Jun's eyes and said with a cold smile, You know about Big brother, take Lei care of me. Wanshan replied, You won't be able to bring Lan clan this to the can be considered a small gift from me to you under my to rule. Ascend to the position the of Lan clan will definitely become the number one clan of the Devil is Island. Only a marginalized figure in our Lei family. At this moment, it doesn't matter whether you daughter live of the patriarch. Lanya during these few days, Lei dressed in more than once kneeling in front of the coffin to save her tears had dried. This time, and she looked Lei Wanshan had coincidentally sent a few disciples to kowtowing, but kowtowing. This wasn't to not saying a single word, but to catch him intentionally. You evil spirit. Lan Jun laughed. How can there be such a vicious daughter like you in this world? The Lei family has made such a decision. I have truly misjudged you. Lan Jun, do you still have the face to kneel here? Don't worry. Die. Once tomorrow is over, what I've promised you will only make you even more after Lan Jun deliberately asked people to spread the news. It was
Lan
Lanya
Zhan laughed out
who
loud.
sent the magic
Lei
antler to kill his
Wanshan
father.
and Tai Zhongbai
This
also
filled the Lan
laughed.
clan disciples who
Lei
didn't know the
Ju
truth
was just a
with
chess
righteous
piece.
indignation.
To the Lei family,
it also made
this
the
was of no
citizens of the
importance.
Tian
His
Yen
life
city
or
extremely
death
angry.
did not matter much to the
How
Lei
could there
family.
be such a daughter?
Just like Lanya
You want to
right
kill
now.
your father
Now,
just
that
for
the
the position
entire
of
Lan
patriarch,
clan was
too
firmly
vicious.
controlled by Lan Zhan.
This kind of person,
Even if Lanya
is
was the
worse
successor,
than an animal.
it would be useless.
Lanya silently
Lan Zhan
endured
stood in front of the
everything.
window, looked
Her
at the
heart
full
was
moon
now
in the sky,
dead silent,
and muttered with
as
a
if
smile,
she had just died.
Lan clan is mine,
and everything else was
Tianyan
no
City
longer
is
important
mine.
to her.
Because
After her father
the next
left,
morning,
she
the day
also
of the
wanted to
funeral,
end her own life.
early in the morning,
This was the
many
condition
citizens
that
of
Lan
Tianyan
Zhan
City
agreed
came
to
over to
when he
offer
came
their
out to send her
condolences.
to the funeral.
White flower in
Lan
hand.
Zhan stood at the side, looking at Lanya with a cold and aloof expression. A hint of pride appeared on the corner of his mouth, and he said in a low voice, "Accept your fate. A guest has arrived." A voice came from outside the door. The elder of the Tai family, Tai Zhongbai, and a few other Tai family disciples walked into the hall. They bowed slightly towards the coffin, then turned to Lan Zhan and said, "My condolences. A guest has arrived." Lei Wanshan had also come. All the famous people in Tian Yen City were here. Even many sects and clans have sent people over. The influence of the Lan clan was extraordinary. This was all developed from the Lan clan's refining techniques. Lan Zhan returned the greeting one by one. This was not only a funeral, but also a public announcement that he would be the leader of the Lan clan in the future. At this moment, "It's time." Lan Zhan regained his composure and said, "Lanya, it's time. It's time to send your father on his way." Lanya's body shook, and his kowtowing became even more intense. Lan Zhan sneered, "If you want to kowtow, you'll have plenty of time to do it in front of your father tomorrow." Suddenly, a voice rang out. "A guest has arrived." Lan Zhan's forehead turned sinister. His expression was somewhat unhappy, and he said in a low voice, "The hour has come. Why are you still here?" When he saw the person that walked into the hall, his expression immediately changed. Great clan elder of Lan clan, Lan Xiong. Lan Xiong walked into the hall and looked at the coffin. His body trembled as he clenched his fists. He walked forward and knelt down heavily. "Big brother, I've come late. I've come late." It's the great clan elder of the Lan clan. The grand elder is back. Why is he back? Lanya looked at his uncle beside him, tears flowing again. He opened his mouth, but was unable to say anything. "Ya heir, Uncle believes in you. Uncle will uphold justice for you." A cold light flashed through Lan Zhan's eyes as he thought in his heart, "Lan Xiong, you've come back to throw away your life, right? A guest has arrived." Another sound rang out. Lan Zhan's eyes were brimming with anger. "The second elder is back. Second elder is back." Lan Xiao walked into the hall and knelt on the ground. "Big brother, I'm late." The entire Lan clan was in an uproar. The great elder, who had disappeared for many years, and the two elders had all rushed back, did not care about Lan Xiong, but if there was Lan Xiao as well, it would be different. Lanya wailed loudly, as if she had found a way to vent, just as everyone was discussing amongst themselves. Another sound. "A guest has arrived. Goddess Sect Master is here." Long Fei stepped into the courtyard. Behind him followed Lu Qin, Mu Bing, as well as Lan Mo, Li Ruhua, MT Tai, and the Tai Hai brothers, all here. Background. Default background color light blue ocean light, yellow clear green light elegant red powder aristocratic family, white snow world gray world color, default black red green blue brown size, default small medium large double click rolling screen, slowest moderately fastest background, default background color light blue ocean light, yellow clear, green light, elegant, red powder, aristocratic, family, white snow, world gray, world color, default black, red, green, blue, brown size, default small, medium, large, large, double click rolling screen, slowest, moderately fastest, fastest, chapter 1725, salutation. Not even eating a forfeit. I'm going to do it. Chapter 1725, salutation. Not even taking a forfeit. This senior is going to do it. Author. A lot of water from the sea returns to the table of contents to join the bookmark. Table of contents, chapter 1725, salutation. Not even taking a forfeit. This senior is going to do it. Goddess sect. Sect master? What sect is this? How come I've never heard of it? Who is it? Goddess sect. They should be female disciples. How could a man become their sect master? The crowd broke out into a flurry of discussion. A disciple whispered into Lan Zhan's ear. Clan leader, he is Long Fei. Lan Zhan stared intently at Long Fei. At this moment, the words that Lan Mo had said before resounded in his heart. His punch may seem ordinary, but it's actually capable of killing in an instant. It's extremely strange. One punch kill. Lan Zhan squinted, and then Lan Zhan walked forward, blocking Long Fei and the others from entering the door, and said, Our Lan clan doesn't seem to have any dealings with the goddess sect, so I suggest you not to get involved with this muddy water. As for what happened in the past, I can do it in front of everyone. The meaning behind his words was very clear. A well doesn't interfere with a river. Long Fei smiled and said, I am indeed not friends with you. How could my goddess sect be friends with a despicable and sinister person like you? Clan leader Lan, yet is my friend. It is natural for me to come to pay my respects to her father. As for what you said about the past, you don't think it happened, but I remember it very clearly. They didn't buy into Lan Zhan's tricks at all. Moreover, to say that Lan Zhan was a despicable and sinister person in front of all the members of the Lan clan, this made many people from the Lan clan extremely furious. Was this a slap to the face of the Lan clan? The fury in his heart secretly surged as he took a step forward and said in a low voice, Long Fei, don't refuse a toast and eat nothing, and also don't look around where this place is. If I were you, I would have immediately left Tianyin City. Lan Xiong, when the Lan Xiao brothers return, they will definitely uphold justice for Lanya. At this time, Lan Zhan did not want to face multiple enemies. However, Long Fei smiled slightly and said, Firstly, I don't eat the toast nor the forfeit wine. I only drink good wine. Secondly, how could a despicable and sinister person like you become me? You want me to leave the Tianyin city? Sure, tell me all my fathers. Coming, Long Fei was here to cause trouble. After all, the Lan Zhan standing in front of him was a boss. How could you let it go? Of course not. The first person he saw from the moment Long Fei stepped into the Lan mansion was Lan Zhan, because his body was shining with a golden light which was too dazzling. Against this type of boss, there was only one word to describe it, F***CK. Your father's abnormal energy is unbearable. If I don't turn you over today, what is your father doing here? Long Fei became excited. Lan Zhan frowned. His eyes turned sinister as he said solemnly, Brat, you want to court death, then I'll grant your wish. Someone come here. Lan Zhan shouted fiercely and said angrily, Capture all of Lan Mo's traitors. If anyone dares to resist, kill them. As soon as he finished, the Lan clan guards all rushed out. Holding onto their spears, they instantly surrounded Long Fei and the others. Lu Qin said coldly, Impudent! To dare to be so rude to our sect master, you must be courting death. When a woman became ferocious, that was what you would call a rage. Lu Qin, who was originally cold to begin with, suddenly became so intrepid. Even Long Fei was shocked. The aura on her body also began to dissipate. However, Lan Zhen did not care and shouted, "Take him down!" It was also at this time. Lan Xiong and Lan Xiao both stood up at the same time. Their figures were illusionary as they landed on the stairs. Recommended book chapter next control plus D. Quickly save the current chapter page to your browser favorites. Press Enter to return to the chapter directory. Press O to return to the previous chapter. Press to enter the next chapter. Chapter 1726, Blasting Fist Attacks. Chapter 1726, Blasting Fist Attacks Lan Xiong. Lan Xiao stood up. Lan Zhen's gaze tightened, and he sneered in his heart, "Great Elder, Second Elder, what do you two mean by this? These fellows are here in Lan clan to cause trouble. Moreover, Lan Mo betrayed the Lan clan and is a traitor of the Lan clan. He should be killed when dealing with this kind of person. Is my method not right?" Lan Zhen's tone carried a bit of pressure. It was the tone of a family head. Lan Xiong looked at Lan Zhen and said, "Lan Zhen, why are you in such a hurry? One thing after another, we will slowly calculate. Why are you in such a hurry to kill him for?" Lan Zhen's gaze tightened and said, "Great Elder, what do you mean by that? Are you with a traitor? You are in cahoots with the person who killed his guards? This guy killed so many disciples of the Lan clan. Could it be that you were the one who instigated all of this?" As soon as he finished, the entire Lan clan was immediately stirred as they discussed in hushed voices. Could it be that Grand Elder is secretly controlling everything? Isn't this too scary? I knew it. How could a mere outsider dare to go against Lan clan? What power does Lan clan have? It seems he has the backing of the great clan elder. Today, I must avenge the dead Lan clan disciples. Right, I must take revenge. All of a sudden, under the instigation of Lan Zhen's trusted aides, all of the Lan clan disciples started boiling with killing intent in their eyes. Lan Zhen instantly turned passivity into initiative. He looked at Lan Xiong with interest and smiled coldly. He thought to himself, "Fight against me? Just you two brothers. You two have come back to your deaths." It was extremely disdainful. Now that the entire Lan clan is under his control, no one will speak a word for Lan Xiong and the others. As long as Lan Xiong stands up for Long Fei, then was he destined to be in a passive position, wanting to reverse the case for Lanya's father? Impossible. Ha ha ha. Lan Zhen laughed out loud in his heart. Seeing him so proud, Long Fei was truly unhappy in his heart. If it was his problem, he wouldn't have been able to wait so long. We'll talk about it after a second. However, this was not the time. Everything had yet to be made clear. Lanya was the one who killed his father. Lan Zhen was still that justice messenger. If they wanted to bring him down, killing him was useless. Lan Xiong's gaze tightened as his expression became unsightly. To strike back and completely disrupt his plans. Long Fei smiled faintly and said, "You're right, the people who killed dozens of Lan clan disciples was indeed me. But they have one thing in common. They are all your trusted aides." Then it's over. Does everyone want to know why Lan Zhen sent so many of his trusted aides to die? Because they are chasing after Lan Mo. Lan Mo is also one of Lan Zhen's trusted aides. Why would he suddenly get chased after? Long Fei smiled slightly, swept his gaze, and said, "I'm afraid only Lan Mo knows about this." Lan Zhen laughed coldly. "That's because he betrayed the Lan clan." "Bullshit," Lan Mo shouted, and said, "Lan Zhen, I know all about what you have done. From the very beginning, it was you who told me to chase after young Master Lanya. It was you who revealed the location of the gigantic, heavenly deer and told young Master Lanya to go to. However, You never expected that she would actually kill the gigantic heavenly deer and obtain the heavenly deer magic antler. You never expected that the gang of heroes would be massacred. But you haven't given up. In the end, he still decided to kill young Master Lanya. As a result, the Black Knight mercenary group was destroyed. You were the one who ordered all this. Lan Emo said, leisurely. Lan Zhen revealed a shocked expression and laughed coldly. Lan Emo, are you telling a story? I think you've read too many novels, haven't you? Besides, do I know you well? I am Lanya's uncle. How can I send you to kill my niece? You must be crazy. Otherwise you would have come to frame this clan leader. He denied it. No matter what Lan Emo said, as long as he denied it, there was no evidence. Lan Mo's gaze darkened and said, Lan Zhen, do you dare not accept the honor? For a despicable person like you, if it wasn't for you changing the Patriarch's magic antler, the Patriarch wouldn't have died at all. The one who really killed the Patriarch was you. The moment he said that, the entire Lan mansion was quiet, and all of them had their eyes set on Lan Zhen. The 9 elders from the Pavilion of Elders looked at Lan Zhen as well. How dare you? Lan Zhen was furious. He glared at him. The sound was extremely loud and brutal. The surrounding chatter was also suppressed. An elder walked out and shouted, Lan Emo, you dared to frame the Patriarch. You shall be guilty of a crime and shall be punished with death. Someone come. Take them down. An elder shouted, and in that moment he took a step forward and thrusted his sword towards Lan Emo. Lan Mo's eyes turned cold. Protect him. Longface said indifferently. Lu Qin moved his sword. Quam. Golden light shot in all directions, and the Lan clan elder's move was instantly dissolved by Lu Qin and bounced back by a strong aura. Long Fei laughed. Why are you so anxious to silence me? Did you step on a dog's tail? Lan Zhen was enraged and said, Brat, looks like you're tired of living. Someone, come. Kill them all. He could not let this continue. Lan Zhen's heart was in a mess. I have to cut through this mess quickly. We should finish off Long Fei and the rest first. Lan Zhen's killing intent had already been determined, so he absolutely could not let Long Fei and the others live, especially Lan Emo, nor could they allow him to spout nonsense. Lan Zhen said solemnly, if you want to frame this clan leader, all of you must die. You are the accomplices that killed the Patriarch. One after another, they were stowed away. Long Fei smirked. What a desperate situation. Is it about to start? Ha ha. Long Fei had been waiting for this moment. Lan Xiong took a step forward and said, Lan Zhen, your words have not been made clear yet. Why are you in such a hurry to kill them? Lan Xiao also stepped forward. Lan Zhen sneered. Great clan elder, second clan elder. As expected, you guys are in cahoots with them. It seems that you guys can't escape the responsibility of the former clan master's death. Lan Zhen. Lan Xiong raged. Lan Zhen shouted coldly. They take him down too. Take your sister. Long Fei's fist moved. The explosive power of the god-slaying fist instantly burst out. At this time, he no longer needed to care about anything else. He could just wait for him to kill everything. Don't say that. Let's kill him first. In that instant, Long Fei moved and threw a punch. It directly hit Lan Zhen. Lan Zhen's eyes became sinister and shouted, You overestimate your strength. Trash, you even dare be impudent with a 6-star cultivation? You're courting death. He struck out with his palm. Long Fei, be careful. Leader, be careful. Lan Zhen's cultivation was very strong. The aura released from his body had completely suppressed Long Fei's. Long Fei was not his match. However, the power that erupted from Long Fei's fist was different. Blasting fist, explode for me. Table of contents. Table of contents. With that punch, he destroyed the immortal god. Under the blasting fist, everything was an ant. Long Fei was very lazy. If it was something that could be killed with one punch, he would definitely not use his second fist. When Lan Zhan became angry from embarrassment, and his dog jumped to the wall in a hurry, it would also be the time for him to punch out. Thus, the punch landed. Boom! The moment the fist and palm collided, a huge explosion resounded, followed by the sound of an explosion. Then, Long Fei was flung out, and his body retreated continuously. Lu Qin and Mu Bing immediately went forward to protect him. Sect Master! Long Fei steadied his body, and his heart shivered. I feel that something is amiss. Shouldn't Lan Zhan be at the 6th level of the Yellow Star realm? Why is it so weak? Lan Mo had told him about Lan Zhan's cultivation. In the 6th level of the Yellow Star realm, his strength was much stronger than that of the elder from the East Sky Gate tribe, but the feeling he gave Long Fei just gave him was that he was inferior to that elder from the East Sky Gate tribe. Zhang Xian was perplexed. Boom! Boom! Lan Zhan's palm exploded, his arm exploded, and his entire body burst apart. Instant kill. The system beeped. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for killing. Lan Yuan for obtaining 16,000 experience, 1,500 holy power value, and 1 abnormal value. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining. Several notifications sounded consecutively. Long Fei's body froze. He was stunned, and he muttered, "This is bad." "It's not Lan Zhan." Lan Clan quieted down abruptly and looked at Long Fei in unison. In their eyes, none of them expected that the Patriarch would be killed instantly by Long Fei. Patriarch. Dead. Master. Kill them. Avenge the Patriarch. Many of the Lan Clan disciples' eyes were bloodshot. All of their gazes were filled with intense killing intent as they stared at Long Fei. Long Fei frowned and said solemnly, "He is not Lan Zhan." Long Fei looked at Lan Mo and asked, "Are you sure he is Lan Zhan?" Lan Mo said, "That's right, he is Lan Zhan." Lan Xiong walked up and asked, "Did something happen?" Long Fei did not conceal anything and directly said, "He is not Lan Zhan, his name is Lan Yuan." Lan Yuan. Lan Xiong, the expression in the eyes of the Lan Xiao brothers suddenly changed, and they said at the same time, "Lan Zhan's compatriot brother? He died when he was 15. He couldn't possibly still be alive right at this moment." Ha ha ha. Ha ha ha. In the hall, a man walked out and said, "Lan Mo, you are right. This brat really has the power to instantly kill him with one punch." Ha ha ha. It looked exactly the same as the person Long Fei killed just now. He was the real Lan Zhan. Beside him stood a few brown-robed elders. The aura exuded from this old man was extremely cold and threatening. Patriarch? He didn't die. Then who was that person? The disciples of Lan Clan all had stupefied looks on their faces. "Brat, you never thought of that, did you?" Ha ha ha. "I still have to thank Lan Mo for the information he provided me. If not, I would be the one to die." Lan Zhan walked out. His voice sunk as he said, "Disciples of the Lan Clan, listen up, capture these traitors for me. If you dare to resist, kill them." Everyone shivered. Lan Xiao suddenly shouted out and said, "He is not Lan Zhan. Lan Zhan is already dead. He did not use all of his strength to command you." Lan Xiong also followed. This person and the person who disguised himself as Lan Zhan tried to control the Lan Clan. He isn't even a member of the Lan Clan. They're from Black Fiend sect, someone from the Evil God sect. Disciples of the Lan Clan, listen up. You absolutely cannot be bewitched by him. The 100-years-old foundation of the Lan Clan cannot be destroyed by him. Lan Xiong's mind raced. In the hearts of the Lan Clan disciples, Lan Zhan was already dead. He absolutely could not let Lan Zhen control the Lan clan anymore, otherwise he would be doomed. The Lan clan disciple was stunned again. For a moment, they were like headless flies, not knowing where to go. Lan Zhen's gaze became gloomy as he lightly said, Lan Xiong, Lan Xiao, it's better if you two don't come back. You just had to come back to die. If that's the case, then go to hell. Old Ma, a brown-colored elder beside him, suddenly moved. His figure turned into a blur as he instantly appeared in front of Lan Xiong. Before Lan Xiong could react, he struck out with his palm. Boom! The strong wind howled. A ferocious black tiger leapt out of the wind from within the palm attack and pounced towards Lan Xiong. Lan Xiong's brow furrowed as he retreated in quick succession. However, his speed was not comparable to the speed of the black tiger. After being heavily struck in the chest, his entire body was sent flying, smashing onto the ground with a bang. A mouthful of blood sprayed out. Lan Zhen laughed coldly and said, You overestimate yourself. Lan Zhao's face changed drastically as he shouted out, Big brother! At the same time, she quickly landed beside Lan Xiong and helped him up. Both of them attacked at the same time. Bang, bang, bang. The two of them could barely block the old man's attack, but they had to struggle to hold on. Lan Zhen's face had a complacent look. He looked at Long Fei and said, Kid, it's your turn now. How dare a 6-star level trash go against me? That punch of yours was limited in time, right? Ha ha ha. If you didn't use that punch, I want to see how you would still act so arrogantly. As soon as he finished, Lan Zhen's aura exploded. Boom! With an explosive sound, his fingers locked onto his throat and quickly grabbed towards Long Fei's throat. Lanimo was startled. Yong, Master Long, run! In this situation, there was nothing he could do. Long Fei's blasting fist was the strongest killing move, and it was used to kill Lan Zhen. If this punch was gone, then they would have lost half. This was only the chance of victory under Lan Zhen's control of the Lan clan. However, now that Lan Zhen and Black Fiend sect were together, they didn't have the slightest chance to fight back. A powerhouse of the Black Fiend sect could crush both Lan Xiao and Lan Xiong. Now, they have only one way to go, flee. Lanimo blocked it and his eyes narrowed. You dog, go and die. The power on his arm became even more violent, forming a claw with his fingers and directly stabbed into Lan Mo's chest. He violently pulled, bringing Lan Mo's heart out. With a whoosh, Long Fei's face changed, and he immediately shouted, All of you retreat. Lu Qin had already thrusted out his sword. Mu Bing also followed suit with a sword attack. They sneakily ran out to follow Long Fei, just for no other reason other than to protect him. Because Long Fei is their goddess sect master. The two girls clashed back and forth, while unleashing powerful sword techniques that formed two sword concept webs. But Lan Zhen shouted coldly, Trash! Break for me! His body released a black, fiendish aura that directly repelled the two sword attacks. At this moment, Lan Zhen glared at Long Fei and said, Brat, you should go to hell. Ha ha ha. Long Fei turned sinister and said, Holy Spirit Angel, come out. Chapter 1728. This daddy doesn't believe that I can't kill you. Chapter 1728. This daddy doesn't believe that I can't kill you. His life was hanging by a thread. Lanimo was killed. Lu Qin, Mu Bing was forced to retreat. He only had Li Ruhua by his side, and Li Ruhua even wanted to let him block one of Lan Zhen's attacks. Even if he died, he couldn't let Li Ruhua be harmed anymore. Long Fei's idea moved. The Holy Spirit Angel on top of the goddess scroll rushed out of the scroll. Its pure white wings suddenly opened, and its body was suffused with an angelic radiance. She was wearing very few clothes. That slender figure, that twin peaks that seemed ready to burst out, and that flawless figure was filled with endless temptation. It was too tempting. Everyone looked at the Holy Spirit angel in midair and swallowed their saliva. Wow, I've never seen such a beautiful woman before. She's too beautiful. Angel, it's really an angel. She's too beautiful. If I could be my wife, I would be willing to cut my lifespan by 10 years. If I could spend one night with you, I would be willing to lose 10 years. All of them were so excited that they felt like they were on stimulants. The Holy Spirit angel's charm value was too high. She had a pure and holy face, and was not angry about the words she had said. She quietly floated behind Long Fei and giggled, "Disciple, who bullied you?" Long Fei slightly said, "Give me the Holy Spirit defense." Holy Spirit angel was startled and said, "Was he the one who bullied you? I can just directly make a move and injure my disciple. Humph, I'll make him suffer." Long Fei said, "I want to do it myself. Give it to my Holy Spirit defense." Oh, Holy Spirit angel could only listen to Long Fei's orders and use a strand of power to support Long Fei's body. It was like a magic shield. Buzz. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining Holy Spirit angel's protection. All attacks are immune to 99% of the damage. A 3-minute duration. Attack resistance 99%. This realm, basically invincible. As the sound of the voice faded, Long Fei did not avoid nor avoid it, but welcomed it head-on. Besides the blasting fist, I also have many other spiritual treasures to use against you. Come on. Boom. Lan Zhen struck Long Fei with a palm. Buzz. A deafening sound was produced as the might of the strike shot out. Young Lord! Master! Long Fei! Many people cried out in alarm, and many Lan clan disciples revealed cold smiles of contempt. To actually dare to take the palm from the patriarch, even if you don't die, you will still become crippled. He's overestimating himself. He's completely courting death. Long Fei stood in his original position, motionlessly, his eyes staring straight at Lan Zhen, and said, "Is it over? It's my turn, right?" Buzz. He threw a punch. Without any strength, it was just an ordinary punch. Lan Zhen never thought that his own palm strike wouldn't be able to kill Long Fei, because his face wasn't able to react in time to be hit by Long Fei's fist. He wasn't injured much, but a front tooth fell down, and his mouth was full of fresh blood that was spit out. "You're courting death." Lan Zhen raged. Long Fei shouted coldly, "The one seeking death is you. Those who kill my brothers. Die." Boom. Boom. You hit me with one fist, I'll hit you with one. Long Fei doesn't need to defend at all, so he doesn't need to defend at all. Long Fei's strength to Lan Zhen was not strong. The reason for the level of cultivation, his power was not enough to harm Lan Zhen, but Long Fei was not afraid. He just wanted to die. One punch, one kill. 1,000 punches meant 1,000 points of HP. I don't believe I can't kill you. You boss, I will kill you with my own hands. Chapter 1729, Holy Spirit Instant Kill. Chapter 1729, Holy Spirit Instant Kill. Boom. He punched with all his strength. Lan Zhen was forced to retreat a few steps. Long Fei forced his way in again and shouted, "Come on, come again." He looked completely like a madman. Lan Zhen was also furious. "You bastard, I don't believe that I can't kill you." With a move of his right hand, he summoned out a sword. With a wave of his sword intent soared to the sky. A sword stabbed out. Buzz. Boom. In the blink of an eye, he had already arrived in front of Long Fei. Long Fei did not dodge or evade, and instead forcibly blocked the attack. "You're using a weapon, right? I have one too." The devil's sword in his hand moved, and used his body to resist Lan Zhan's sword strike. Long Fei's murderous sword skill thrust it out. "Come, let's injure each other." Shua! The killing intent of the tyrant demon sword burst out, instantly piercing through Lan Zhan's chest. Lan Zhan's expression changed greatly. Fresh blood gushed out from his chest. His eyes turned sinister as he bellowed. Why, brat, what exactly do you have on you?" It just couldn't break the defense. But he could not calculate Long Fei. In less than 2 minutes, the damage he dealt to Long Fei was almost zero. It was impossible for a 6-star cultivation base to be like this. Lan Zhan himself was a little muddled, and now that he had been heavily injured by Long Fei's sword, he became even more furious. What's going on? Just what spirit treasure does he have? Even if he had a divine-level protective treasure, it would still be useless. A 6-star cultivation is unable to bring out a divine-level protective treasure. There must be something strange about this kid's body. Could it really be the reincarnation of a certain powerhouse? Isn't this way too unthinkable? The crowd broke out into a flurry of discussion. 6 stars of cultivation would normally not be able to block an attack from Lan Zhan, who was at the 6th level of the Yellow Star realm. However, not only did Long Fei block it, he even used his entire body to defend against it without the slightest of injury. There was only one explanation. That was Long Fei was a reborn powerhouse. Only by doing this could he explain his invincible defense. Lan Zhan stared intently at Long Fei and said, "Brat, who exactly are you?" Long Fei grinned and sneered, "I am your ancestor. Now it's my turn to go crazy. While he's sick, I want his life." The attack just now had dealt a critical injury to Lan Zhan, and this was the time to take his life. Furthermore, Holy Spirit defense only had half a minute left. He had to take care of this boss within half a minute. Die! The great circle of Long Fei released his dragon step. He moved like a dragon, rushing forward with a heavy charge, instantly appearing in front of Lan Zhan, his murderous sword skill thrusting out. Shua! Killing intent surged. That kind of deathly killing sword intent completely wrapped around Lan Zhan. Lan Zhan's face sank and shouted loudly, "Kid, you want to kill me? You're too inexperienced." With a flick of his body, the long sword struck forward. Long Fei's mouth twitched and said, "How many times do you have to try before you understand? I am invincible." Long Fei retracted his sword and directly caused Lan Zhan's sword to stab towards him. Buzz! Holy Spirit Defense's magic shield easily blocked Lan Zhan's long sword, and in that moment, Long Fei thrust it out. "Die!" Lan Zhan frowned. His pupils suddenly contracted as he shouted, "Elder Lu!" Shua! The old man who had been standing still in the hall suddenly moved. It was like a spirit serpent. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Asterisk, whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Asterisk, there was a sound of friction in the air. It sounded like the rustling sound of a giant snake moving on the ground. The spirit serpent has left its cave. Hiss, hiss, it directly struck onto Long Fei's chest. Boom! Long Fei was instantly sent flying. He crashed into a wall not too far away, his blood and chi tumbling in his chest. A bright red number appeared above his head from the strike just now. 1922. 4 digits of damage. This was with 99% immunity to attacks. If not for Holy Spirit defense, Long Fei would already be dead. What a strong defense. The old man frowned. He stared at Long Fei. His cultivation was much higher than Lan Zhan's. He thought one strike was more than enough to kill Long Fei. However, it only slightly injured Long Fei and did not cause any substantial damage at all. This couldn't help but cause him to be secretly shocked. Lan Zhan crawled up from the ground, stared at Long Fei, and shouted coldly, "Brat, continue being arrogant. You dog, today you must die no matter what." The rage raged. Being crushed by Long Fei in front of so many people made him lose all face. Long Fei had to die. Lan Zhen slightly retreated and said to the old man beside him, "Kill him." The old man's eyes narrowed and his killing intent increased. Long Fei wiped off the blood from the corner of his mouth, his heart feeling extremely unwell. "You called him." "Sure. I have people too." As soon as he finished, the old man had already rushed forward, and his figure appeared in the air like a black snake, surrounding Long Fei in a circle. He raised his body. Shwa! The gigantic black python raised its body, opened its bloody mouth, and swallowed Long Fei whole. "Sovereign, be careful. Big brother Long Fei." The disciples of the Lan clan all raised their heads to look at the sky, revealing shocked expressions. "Too strong. This kid is dead for sure. Ha ha ha. Let's see how he can still act so arrogantly now." Lan Zhen also raised his head slightly to look at the sky, feeling shocked in his heart to think that Elder Lu would actually release such a powerful attack. This is his devouring power. No matter how strong his defense is, this brat will be devoured. Ha ha ha. To go against me is to go against the Black Fiend sect, and that means to go against the evil god sect. I am the evil god's representative for the Tianyan city. Ha ha ha. Lan Zhen sneered in his heart. From his point of view, Long Fei was definitely dead. Long Fei's entire body was blocked. That huge black snake was too strong. Black Fiend sect's black serpent protector. Furthermore, he was an important figure of the evil god sect. If he attacked, no one would be able to stop him. At least, no one in the powerhouse that Lan Zhen had ever met could stop him. Long Fei raised his eyes and cursed, "Fuck! Isn't it too cruel to swallow your father in one bite?" Long Fei remained calm. He just stood there, without moving. There was no trace of fear in his eyes. At this moment, he was thinking, explosions or not, use metamorphic energy value. This is a problem. However, he had to kill him. Long Fei smirked. "Let's kill him first." And then Long Fei moved and shouted, "Master, Holy Spirit kill." Holy Spirit Angel laughed and said, "Understood." The light around her body suddenly flared up, as if it were gathering energy. In that short moment, a beam of light pierced through, like a laser cannon blasting through the void. The lines exploded one by one. Boom! The light was extremely dazzling. The gigantic black snake disappeared, and a corpse fell from the air. Instant kill. It was also at this moment. Ding! Chapter 1730. Explosive things swallowed by the system. Chapter 1730. Explosive things swallowed by the system. The system sounded out a melodious prompt. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for killing Black Fiend Sex Protector, for obtaining 100,000 experience, 10,000 holy power value points, and 1 energy values point. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining Spirit Serpent Fusion. Do you wish to cultivate it? Rob. Long Fei waited for 3 whole seconds, but he did not hear the system beep sound out again. His heart sank as he scolded. "Your sister, what are you doing?" "Monsters that are even stronger than bosses. Do you only drop 1 item? What the heck?" The protector of the Black Fiend sect was at a much higher level than Lan Zhen. But it was too disappointing that just 1 item had dropped. However, the Black Fiend School protector didn't have the boss aura on him. In other words, he wasn't the boss aura, but the aura of the boss on Lan Zhen was very strong. If it wasn't for the boss dropping an item, it would have been good. Being forced to suffer was being forced to suffer. Long Fei was thinking about whether or not to use his metamorphic energy value. That's a problem. Spirit Serpent Fusion? If it were to release an abnormal energy, what would it become? Long Fei was a little worried. After all, abnormal energy only had 100 points. It could only be used once. If he used it now, he wouldn't be able to use it when using it to kill Lan Zhan. This guy is much stronger than the boss, and he only dropped one item. Is it possible that this item is very special? Rob, it's time for us to look at luck. Long Fei made up his mind and decided to gamble. Let's gamble. It's time to change from a bicycle to a motorbike. Let's do it. Releasing abnormal energy. Ding! Spirit Serpent Fusion merged 100 points of abnormal energy. Following that, the system went silent. After a long time, there was no sound at all. It was very sudden until Long Fei was completely unprepared and stared dumbstruck in place. He was dumbfounded. The surrounding crowd was stunned as well, especially Lan Zhan. Dead. Black Fiend Sex Protector was actually killed in an instant. Why is it like this? Impossible. This is impossible. That brat has clearly used up all of his strength. How could there be a second time? Lan Zhan's body trembled slightly. He didn't believe what was happening right in front of his eyes. That's simply impossible. However, the corpse was right under Long Fei's feet. It did not move at all and had no signs of life. Even if he didn't believe it, the truth was right in front of him. The faraway brown-haired elder's expression changed drastically as he panicked. His attacks came to a sudden halt as well. Looking at the corpse of the Black Fiend Sex Protector, he shouted, "Protector!" It was also at this time. The two brothers, Lan Xiong and Lan Xiao, seized this opportunity and released their strength at the same time, launching heavy attacks. Bam! The brown-robed elder was sent flying. He fell to the ground and couldn't get back up. At this moment, Lan Mansion quieted down. Old Man Tai lowered his head. The Lei family elder did the same. They slowly hid into the crowd and then slowly disappeared. Lan Zhan! Lan Xiong shouted. Lan Xiao immediately surrounded him. Lan Zhan's face turned sinister. He looked up. The anger in his heart was intense. He suddenly jumped to Lanya's side, grabbed her hair, lifted her up, and shouted loudly, "Who dares to come over? I'll kill him." At this moment, seeing that the situation was not going well, the few elders of the Lan clan quietly hid into the crowd and quickly left. Lan Zhan was the only one left in the entire Lan clan. The Lan clan-s who were originally in control, suddenly no one listened to him. This was reality, cruel reality. 1 second you're calling the shots, the next you're being abandoned. An elder from the Pavilion of Elders walked out and said lightly, "Lan Zhan, turn around and face the shore. Withdraw." Ha ha ha. You old guys, why didn't you stop when you accepted my bribes? Lan Zhan laughed coldly, looked at them with contempt, and said, one sinister and despicable old thing after another. The complexion of all the elders in the elder pavilion changed. One of the clan elders bellowed, "Lan Zhan, stop your nonsense." Lan Zhan laughed coldly. "Blueprint, have you used up the 100 divine spirit pills I gave you? When I gave it to you, didn't you think it wasn't enough? I didn't expect an old thing like you to agree to my conditions, but in the end, you actually let me be the temporary patriarch. I was ashamed to speak of your shameful deeds, and now you see that I have gone to tell me to stop. Blueprint, you old fox is really amazing." Lan Zhan shouted. Blueprint's face alternated between green and purple, very unsightly. He angrily said, "I don't even know what you're talking about." Lan Xiong said, "Lan Zhan, I don't care what you've done in the past. Please let her go now." Lanya was the successor, and also their only niece, in the absence of their big brother. Lanya absolutely could not let anything happen to him. Lan Zhan raised the Lanya in his hands by half a point, smiled lightly, and said, "Lan Xiong, if you want her alive, get out of my way." "No." Suddenly, Lan Zhan looked at Long Fei and said, "Kill him first." Everyone looked at Long Fei. Lan Zhen smiled slightly and said, Lanya is the only daughter of the patriarch, and also the successor to the Lan clan. You all don't want to see her die here, right? As long as you kill that bastard Long Fei for me, I will immediately let her go. Both Lu Qin and Mu Bing were startled and immediately walked to Long Fei's side and started to be cautious. Long Fei still stood there dumbly, as if he was petrified. No one knew what had happened. Li Ruhua also quickly walked over and asked, Long Fei, what's wrong? Just as Long Fei was about to use his spirit serpent fusion to strengthen himself, a strange scene occurred. The system had unexpectedly short-circuited and mysteriously restarted. The most important thing was, during the process of restarting, Long Fei was unable to move. He was completely stupefied. System restart. This was the first time he met such a thing, causing Long Fei to feel terrified. System, what the hell are you doing? What's the meaning of this telling me to not move when you restart the plane? And restart it when you say it. Are you going to break? It won't explode in my head, will it? Long Fei was a little worried, because all of this is too strange. Why would the system short-circuit restart when the abnormal energy is supplemented with spirit serpent fusion? What's wrong? Ding! The system finally sounded out once again. Long Fei's 4 limbs returned to normal, and he let out a long sigh in his heart. Damn it, I was almost killed by you. Even a small heart can't take it. Ding! System notification. A glitch has occurred in the system. Spirit serpent fusion has disappeared. The thing was swallowed. Long Fei was stunned in place. He could not say a single word. Chapter 1731, Super Gift Pack. Chapter 1731, Super Gift Pack. F***CK. Long Fei immediately scolded. Swallowing my thing? Are you tired of living? Everything else was fine, but swallowing the thing that Long Fei dropped was impossible. What was this called? This was equivalent to robbing. The system is devouring players' items. Is there still justice? Is there still any laws? Can you still let people have fun? Is there anyone else? Does anyone even care? Should we let them live? Long Fei shouted bitterly. No one paid any attention to him. The system was only an AI. He did not care about Long Fei. However, just as Long Fei was about to lose all hope, the system suddenly sounded out. Ding! System notification. In order to make up for the loss of the player, you have been rewarded with a special item. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining Super Gift Pack. Do you wish to open it? Oh, Super Gift Pack. System, I knew you would love it. Ha ha ha. Long Fei could not help but cheer, but he immediately became excited when he heard the 2 words Super Gift Pack. Immediately, a gift box appeared in his system interface. It was an extremely dazzling golden light. I've struck it rich. I'm rich. Ha ha ha. I'm going to post it. Long Fei's face instantly flushed red. He looked extremely happy. This caused the surrounding people to be stunned. Is this person crazy? If Lan Zhen wants to kill him, why is he so happy? Are you crazy? Everyone looked at Long Fei's excited and happy expression and was stunned. Lu Qin and Mu Bing were also stunned. Grandmaster, why are you still happy that they want to kill you? Lu Qin asked in a low voice. Mu Bing also asked, What are you doing? Lan Zhen grinned and laughed, saying, Brat, it's useless to pretend to be crazy in front of me. Lan Xiong, kill him right now. I'll immediately release Lanya. None of them knew what Long Fei was happy about. At a time like this, he should have been angry and nervous, but now he was laughing like a fool. Long Fei simply did not care about what was happening around him. Right now, he was extremely focused and careful. Even his heartbeat had stopped. The idea moved and gently clicked on it. Activate. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for opening the super gift pack. Ding! Congratulations to the player Long Fei for obtaining the divine rank alchemy technique. Congratulations to the player Long Fei for obtaining the divine rank refining techniques. Congratulations to the player Long Fei for obtaining the godly formation technique. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining the godly spirit communication technique. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining. All of them were auxiliary method S, one after another. All of these arts had one characteristic: they were all divine rank techniques of the ancient holy battlefield. This was different from the auxiliary method of the gods' martial continent and the gods' martial continent. They were all true divine rank techniques. The system beep continued. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining activating main artifact strength. Is the main artifact restarting? At this moment, the system beep sounded again. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for cultivating the skill Blasting Fist and obtaining Hurricane Evolution. Hurricane Evolution? Can I attack from a distance? He can turn one punch into three, and all of them were instantly killed. Ding! The Blasting Fist has finished cooling. A series of sounds rang out. Long Fei's heart could not take it anymore. Not only that, the Blasting Fist had activated evolution, and this technique seemed like an experience bar. It could even evolve. He was about to explode. Chapter 1732, Hurricane Burst Boxing. Chapter 1732, Hurricane Burst Boxing. Lan Xiong, are you still not making your move? Do you want to see Lanya die in front of you? The strength of Lan Zhan's hands increased as his body was lifted into the air. His four limbs struggled, and his face was pale white, unable to speak. However, she continued to gently shake her head, signaling Lan Xiong and the others to not attack Long Fei. Quick attack! Kill him! Lan Zhan hated Long Fei to the bones. If it wasn't for Long Fei, he definitely wouldn't have reached such a state. You dog, no matter what, I will cripple you today. Lan Zhan said as he gnashed his teeth. Lan Xiao looked at Lan Xiong and said in a low voice, "You will soon be unable to hold on. Grand Elder, we can't let the Patriarch's only daughter die in front of us." Yeah. Grand Elder, hurry up and make a decision. Let's do it. If we attack together, we will definitely be able to kill him. Many of the Lan clan elders started to panic. Lanya continuously shook her head. Even if she died, she wouldn't be able to make her own clansmen do anything to Long Fei. If not for Long Fei, Lan Zhan could still control the Lan clan and bring him to an irrecoverable level. Big brother, make up your mind. Lan Xiao saw that Lanya's face had become even paler and became incomparably worried. Lanya was the only daughter of the Patriarch. They were their only nieces. If they could not even protect Lanya, how would they meet their big brother after they died? Lan Xiong's forehead was covered with sweat. When he saw that Long Fei still had an excited expression on his face, he clenched his fists tightly and shouted, "Little brother, I'm sorry." Hearing these words, "Ha ha ha," Lan Zhan laughed out loud and said complacently, "That's more like it, that's more like it. Kill him, kill this dog, ruin my plans, and your end will be death." Lu Qin and Mu Bing's eyes tensed up. They once again took half a step closer to Long Fei, seemingly sticking close to his left and right side. "Whoever dares to even touch our sect master, I will never stop." Their eyes were determined. At this moment, the many disciples of Lan clan all took a big step forward. Mu Bing said in a low voice, "Sect master, what's wrong?" Long Fei did not react at all. He was still researching the hurricane burst boxing and was excited to the point that the space between his eyebrows was a mess, My God, can this blasting fist even evolve? However, evolution seems to require swallowing the cultivation technique. I cultivate. The appearance of the super big gift pack allowed the blasting fist to evolve. Hurricane burst boxing could be considered as a stage 2 of evolution, which was also stage 3 of evolution. It was just that it needed to devour the cultivation technique. Long Fei cultivated. The higher the level, the better. At the current stage, hurricane burst boxing can attack from afar. Its attacking range is 10 meters, and it can release 2 blasting fists at once. That is to say, one punch can kill 2 people in an instant. Long Fei thought the third stage of evolution should be able to instantly kill 3 people. If so, then how many people could he instantly kill with his highest cultivation level? Could it be that a single punch could instantly kill all of Powerhouse's powerhouse? If that was the case, Long Fei was about to drool. With a wretched face and an excited face, he said, Destiny God, right? Don't let Lousy see you. Otherwise, Lousy will beat your shit out of you. At this moment, Lan Xiong shouted, Kid, I'm sorry. His figure suddenly blurred. Lan Xiong attacked. Lan Jun became excited. Kill him! Kill him! Lu Qin frowned. His sword shook, and he protected Long Fei beside him tenaciously. Sect Master, please wake up. At this moment, Lan Xiong's aura dispersed and landed in front of Long Fei. Looking at Long Fei, he tightly clenched his fists, gritted his teeth, and stabbed his sword into the ground. At this moment, Lan Zhao's pupils suddenly shrank. He rushed forward, not towards Long Fei, but towards Lan Zhan. Lan Zhan looked at Lan Xiao and sneered. You overestimate yourself. Lan Xiao, with your strength, you aren't even worthy to fight with me. Lan Zhan welcomed it with a sword strike. Although he was injured, his cultivation was 1 level higher than Lan Zhao's, and with one sword strike, he forced Lan Xiao back. At this time, Lan Xiong's sword stabbed onto the ground, bent, and with a violent bounce, his body spun like a spinning awl, turning around and thrusting towards Lan Zhan. The speed was too fast. This was a strange sneak attack. It was also the highest profound meaning of the Fallen Leaf sword art. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Asterisk Lan Xiao was only faking his attack, but Lan Xiong was the main point of attack. With his sword thrusting towards Lan Zhan's face changed drastically. However, Lan Zhan was very clear that he could not dodge this attack. His body sank as he coldly laughed and said, Ambushed me? Ha ha ha. Lan Xiong, then let Lanya die under your sword. Suddenly, he used Lanya as a shield and blocked in front of him. Come on. Come kill me. Ha ha ha. Lan Zhan laughed loudly. When Lan Xiong saw this, he lowered his body and flipped. The powerful sword energy suddenly retracted, directly devouring his body. He fell from the sky and continuously retreated. Uffed. A mouthful of blood sprayed out. He suffered heavy internal injuries. Big brother. Lan Xiao ran up and helped Lan Xiong up. Lan Xiong's aura became chaotic as he stared at Lan Zhan and said, Lan Zhan, you despicable and sinister villain. I'm despicable. Humph. You sneak attacked me and even said that I'm despicable. Why don't you say anything more about yourself? Lan Zhan coldly snorted and said, Since you guys aren't going to kill that brat, then we must die. Lanya, it was your 2 uncles who brought you here. Don't blame me for being ruthless. Lan Zhan laughed coldly. He slightly exerted some force with his arm, and creaking sounds came from the key point. At this moment, Long Fei's eyes suddenly jerked upwards as the corner of his mouth hooked up, and he said, Didn't you want me to die? Just say it earlier. When his system was restarted, his body was indeed stuck. However, he was very clear about what had happened after. He just hadn't reacted. Even though Lan Xiong had suddenly appeared in front of him, he was still very calm. He wanted to see if Lan Xiong would attack him. No. His heart skipped a beat. Lan Zhen saw Long Fei suddenly speak, and immediately laughed. Right, this old man wants your life. Long Fei slowly walked forward and said, My life is right here, I just have to come and take it. While they were talking, Long Fei walked forward step by step and slowly approached from a distance of 20 meters away. In the end, Long Fei stopped 10 meters away and said, All right, Lan Zhen, you can go to hell now. Lan Zhen's brows sank, and he had a bad premonition in his heart. He quickly blocked Lanya in front of him and said, Brat, I'm going to hell? Come if you have the guts. He. Long Fei smiled and said, Have you ever seen a fist that can turn a corner? No. Come. Bro, I'll let you experience what it is like to know how to turn a corner and how to use it. Long Fei's fists moved. He suddenly sank and threw out a punch. Hurricane burst boxing. Chapter 1733, God Rare Sect Emissaries. Chapter 1733, God Rare Sect Emissaries. A punch was fired out. Shwa. The two punches split into two, heading towards the target and attacking from both sides. Boom. Boom. Two fists of wind, like two fire dragons, formed into half a month, went around Lanya and heavily smashed onto his body. Rumble! Lan Zhen's body instantly turned into smithereens. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for killing Lan Zhen for obtaining 30,000 experience, 3,000 holy power value, and 1 abnormal value. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining Falling Leaf Sword technique. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining 10 Divine Spirit Pills. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining Cloud Moon Sword. Congratulations to player Long Fei. The system beep continued to ring. Long Fei let out a long breath, and in his heart he thought, Damn, luckily I had the foresight to use my metamorphic energy value first. If not, I would really be at a loss. That's wise. The abnormal energy caused a short circuit in the Spirit Serpent fusion and directly gave a super big gift bag to Su Yun. Not only did it open up the blasting fist for him to level up, it also made him a hurricane burst boxing. This was still secondary. More importantly, the opening strength of the third stage of main artifact appeared. In other words, as long as he found that power, he would be able to start the third stage of main artifact. The only thing that made Long Fei a little unhappy was that the main gun in the first stage and the Sun Wukong in the second stage had all disappeared. However, the third stage of main artifact would definitely be even more ferocious. What's the third stage? Long Fei asked himself in his heart, What is it? 3 days later, Lan Clan Hall. Lanya's body was already more than half recovered. She was now the patriarch. Also, Lei Jiu had also found it in the dungeon, but he had never found it before. Right now, he did not want to return to the Lei family. Lei Wanshan's betrayal had disheartened him. In the main hall, a disciple hurriedly ran in and said, He's here, he's here. Lanya got up and asked, You're here? The disciple gasped for breath and said, reporting to Patriarch, the envoy from God Rare Sect has arrived. Long Fei was slightly stunned as he looked at Lanya. He was not aware of the matter regarding the envoy from the God Rare Sect and said softly, God Rare Sect, I heard that there is only one disciple recruitment a year, and the time is not at this point either. Lan Xiong said with a faint smile, Although Lan Clan can't compare to those large sects, they still have a bit of a relationship. Coincidentally, there was a disciple in Tianyin City who once entered the God Rare sect with the aid of Lan clan. So through his relationship, we got the God Rare sect's envoy to come ahead of time. This is our patriarch's repayment to you for helping Lan clan survive this crisis. Some families would sponsor talented disciples. This was a form of nurturing and investment. Once a cultivator entered a large sect, a large force would also bring endless benefits to the families that supported them. At least, they would be able to open up a path. This was the philosophy behind the many years of management in the Lan clan. Lanya knew that Long Fei was looking for the God Rare sect and had spent a lot of effort to find that disciple. Of course, Long Fei did not know that it took Lanya a whole 1,000 divine spirit pills to get the God Rare sect envoy to come to the Tianyin City first. He said that it was because of that disciple's help. Otherwise, it would have been because of the divine spirit pill. It was the same at any time. Money can make a difference. In the Devil Island, a divine spirit pill was money. No matter how strong the powerhouse was, they would need divine spirit pills to cultivate. Long Fei gratefully said, "Thank you, Lan clan lord." Lanya said, "Big brother Long, the one to thank is me. If not for you, my Lan clan would probably have already been brought into the evil god sect by Lan Zhan, and at that time, I'm afraid that I would have already fallen into hell." Long Fei asked, "What's the situation with the evil god sect?" Long Fei was not clear about many things in this world. Lan Xiong said calmly, "The ancient holy battlefield is divided into two great warring factions, the light faction that the main temple controls, and the evil god's bloodline that the evil god controls. Although the Devil Island is not the main battlefield, there are still people from the evil god sect. Once they join the evil god sect, they might not be able to escape. The people of the Black Fiend sect are extremely cruel. Those who enter the sect must use the Black Fiend poisonous insect, use it to devour the light in their minds to breed evil spirits, and then use it to produce a strong power of evil thoughts. Using this power of evil thoughts to condense into an evil spirit pill is the same as using the divine spirit pill. Only the evil spirit pill is more ferocious and evil. Long Fei did not care about all these. What he cared about was whether or not he could leave the Devil Island after joining the evil god sect. And then Long Fei asked, "Since the Devil Island has the evil god sect, then can we leave the Devil Island and enter the god battlefield?" Lan Xiao shook his head and said, "No, there is simply no path that can lead to the outside world in the Devil Island. The Devil Island is isolated from the rest of the world, and there is simply no path that can lead to the outside world in this place, let alone entering the ancient holy battlefield. Actually, it's the equivalent of an ancient holy battlefield. Instead, this is a peaceful place. At least it's not as cruel as the battlefield." Lan Xiao revealed a smile. It was somewhat bitter. Any warrior from the ancient holy battlefield would want to enter the god battlefield to gain merits. Everyone wanted to change this world. The ancient holy battlefield was the only place. "I still can't," Long Fei muttered in his heart, and thought, "Looks like I still have to enter the God Rare sect. Since Mother left from there, there must be a way for the God Rare sect to reach the outside world." Humph! Long Fei wanted to leave the Devil Island. If one wanted to enter the battlefield of the gods, one had to acquire the power to change the world as soon as possible. By breaking the rules, one could make the destiny god lose the power to control its own destiny. Only then would he be able to save those people who had been stripped of their wheel of destiny by the destiny god. "The envoy has arrived." A shout came from outside Lan Mansion. Two of them were dressed in luxurious clothing, and there was a mountain peak embroidered on their chest that towered above the clouds. This is the sect emblem of the god Rare sect. He was an existence that countless people looked up to. Countless warriors of the Tianyin city followed them from behind, maintaining a certain distance not daring to come closer. It was because of fear, but also because of reverence. The envoys of the God Rare sect have arrived early. The relationship between the Lan clan is truly extraordinary. This year, I will definitely pass the examination. Me too. God Rare sect is one of the 10 sects and is many times stronger than those small sections. God Rare sect did produce a fairy who flew into the sky from this point onwards. The other 9 major sects wouldn't dare to underestimate him. The discussion went on endlessly. In their eyes, these martial artists were nothing more than mortals. They didn't even have the qualifications to be looked down upon by them. He walked into the Lan mansion. Lanya personally went forward to welcome him. "Welcome, envoy." One of the emissaries raised his eyes slightly and looked at Lanya and said coldly, "Stop wasting time. Go notify them. We will start the assessment tomorrow." Tianyan City? Only one disciple appears in 10 years. If it wasn't out of respect for the divine spirit pills, I wouldn't even plan to come this year. Chapter 1734, The Talent Analysis Test. Chapter 1734, The Talent Analysis Test. His words were full of disdain. Moreover, he wasn't afraid of her, and directly said that he was doing it for the sake of the divine spirit pill. Lanya didn't dare to be disrespectful in the slightest. A large sect like the God Rare sect wasn't someone she could afford to offend. The envoy looked at Lanya and said, "All right, let's do it like this for today. Prepare 2 rooms for us." Lanya immediately nodded. "I was prepared a long time ago. I'll take you there myself." The envoy smiled. "Correct. It would be even better if you could spend the night with us." As soon as he finished, the expression of the Lan clan disciple changed. Lan Xiong and Lan Zhao's faces darkened even more. Lanya laughed. "Envoy is joking." The envoy revealed an evil smile. "I'm not joking. I'm very serious. Your looks can be considered average, but to have a beauty like yours in this remote place is still fine. Besides you," he looked at Mu Bing and Lu Qin, who were beside Long Fei, and said with a slight smile, "Those 2 are not bad too. If Lan Clan Master doesn't mind, it's to have the 2 of them accompany us too." At this moment, Lei Jiu roared in anger. "Senior envoy, don't go overboard." Anger burned in his heart. He liked Lanya. No one was allowed to insult her. No one was allowed to insult her even with words. This was the aura a man should have. Lei Jiu walked forward, but was stopped by Lanya. The envoy sneered and said, "I have gone too far. What can a piece of trash like you do? You, humph. Trash who doesn't even have a cultivation of yellow star. In the past, you wouldn't even have the qualifications to talk to me." "Understood." "Very little." He didn't even look at Lei Jiu. Lanya said slightly, "2 emissaries, go to your residences first. I will definitely arrange everything. If they continue to argue, it might lead to more trouble." Moreover, he had called for the envoy of the God Rare sect, for Long Fei. Other than this, if there were disciples of the Lan clan who were to enter the God Rare sect, it would also be a type of powerful increase for the Lan clan. After all, God Rare sect was one of the 10 sects and had an extraordinary influence. "Humph," one of the emissaries snorted and said, "Lan clan lord, I hope that you won't disappoint me. Otherwise, I will disappoint you all." "Ha ha." The 2 emissaries sneered as they left. Lei Jiu clenched his fists and shouted, "What dog shit messenger? What the hell is he? Is God Rare sect just this kind of trash? Is a God Rare sect like that even worthy of a 10 sects? Have you had enough?" Lanya shouted at Lei Jiu. Lei Jiu's face changed. Lanya asked again, "Do you know what it means to Big Brother Long that you have found the God Rare sect? If you offend him now, what if he leaves? God Rare sect, Do you know where it is? Legio, are you able to mature a little? Lanya said with a heavy tone. Then she regretted it. Actually, she was not angry at Legio, but at himself. Legio lowered his head and did not speak. Long Fei could also tell that there was anger burning in Lanya's heart. The dignified elder of a family actually wanted her to sleep with him. Wasn't this humiliating Lan clan? Long Fei asked slightly. What do you plan to do? I can. Without waiting for Long Fei to finish, Lanya smiled lightly and said, I will make the arrangements. I just made Sister Mu, feel aggrieved. I'm sorry. Lu Qin and Mu Bing responded with a smile. I'm fine. The next morning, Lan clan's martial arts practice field. The two emissaries were brimming with energy as they smiled and said to Lanya, we were very satisfied with Lan clan's arrangement last night, but I'm a little disappointed that I didn't see you. However, don't worry, I will help the Tianyan city. As long as you meet the requirements for the assessment, I will send all of you to the God Rare sect. What happened last night? I'm afraid. Only Lanya knew. If it was before, Lanya would definitely not do that. But now it was different. She was the patriarch of the Lan clan, so he had to shoulder all the responsibilities of the clan. Lanya smiled slightly. As long as you are happy. The left envoy stared at Lanya's chest and laughed lightly. Then he said, call out all of your Lan clan's disciples. Let's give your Lan clan's disciple the assessment first, and then give those trash inside your Tianyan city the assessment. Early in the morning, the Lan clan was crowded with young warriors. They were waiting for the God Rare sex assessment. However, in the eyes of these two emissaries, they were nothing more than trash. Lanya slightly said, Thank you, envoy. At this time, Lan Xiong walked out with all of the disciples of Lan clan's young generation. Long Fei, Lu Qin, Mu Bing, Li Ruhua, and Li Ruhua were among them. Lei Jiu did not want to participate in the exam. However, in the end, they were persuaded by Lanya to participate. The messenger from the right walked up, and the idea moved. He took out a half-man tall black stone pillar from the space ring and said, Put your hands on top of it. Sense and communicate with the idea to determine your talent level. Spiritual God sense stone, as expected of the God Rare sect. This kind of stone pillar that detects talent is actually half the size of a person. It's really too powerful. Many people revealed an excited expression. Hurry up. Don't waste our time. The emissary on the right shouted and looked at the Lan clan disciples as if they were trash. The selection of God Rare sect disciples was extremely strict. Only one person would be chosen in 10 years. Was already considered a trash place, and it was difficult for a second person to qualify for it. The Lan clan disciples all went up. Lan Xiong called out his name. Lan Yao. With his palm gently placed on top, the idea moved. The spirit god sensed that the black stone had no reaction at all. The envoy on the right coldly said, Trash will lose the right to be next. Lan Yao became extremely depressed. And then the second Lan clan disciple walked up. One piece of trash, disqualified. Next. Trash. Trash. Next. Trash. The word trash continuously echoed from the mouth of the right envoy. Those Lan clan disciples were beaten to the point that their skin couldn't even be covered and were incomparably dejected. Lanya was secretly anxious. Next, Legio. Legio walked forward. He had never thought of participating in the examination and thought to himself, I'll just lightly touch it. I want to stay by your side. He looked at Lanya. He gently placed his palm on top, and with a light bang, the idea did not sense anything yet. A flash of light appeared on the black stone. The right emissary was startled. He looked at Lei Jiu and said, "Third stage of the spirit god's inherent skill, qualified." The entire audience was in an uproar. Lei Jiu himself was stupefied. "Emissary, is there a problem with your black stone?" "I only lightly touched it." "How did it become a third-grade talent?" Lei Jiu did not want to enter the god rare sect at all. "Do you think that third rank is very strong?" "I just barely qualify for the assessment." The right envoy disdainfully said, "Next." Lan Xiong became excited and said, "Long Fei." Chapter 1735. Cheating. Chapter 1735. Cheating detection talent. A breakthrough in a single plane would result in certain changes to the body. However, from the chaos realm to the ancient holy battlefield, Long Fei did not just undergo tribulation and ascend, he also charged into the sky as a tower question of God. In other words, his body did not have any changes and was exactly the same as chaos realms. If that was the case, Long Fei frowned. He was slightly worried. After all, the disparity in a plane was not just a little, but rather extremely huge. It was just like how the most ordinary one-star god realm in the ancient holy battlefield could suppress the powerhouse who had the highest realm. "Hurry up! I don't have time for you to waste." The envoy from the right shouted. Long Fei walked forward and gently placed his right hand on it as he thought in his heart, "What kind of talent is it?" The idea slightly moved. The idea and the spiritual god's test results were the same. At this moment, there was no response from the black pillar. Long Fei's heart sank a little as he thought to himself, "As expected, it won't work. Trash talent. Unqualified. Next." The right emissary didn't look at Long Fei again. Lan Xiong's gaze tightened as a look of doubt appeared on his face. He mumbled, "He's so strong, but his talent is actually 0. Is this really that abnormal?" It was not only Lan Xiong, but all the other Lan clan present were the same. Even Lanya had a face full of astonishment as he asked, "What's going on?" For Long Fei to be able to kill the protector of the Black Fiend sect and Lan Zhan in an instant, this kind of power must be very talented. Moreover, in the eyes of many, Long Fei was a reborn powerhouse. In this sort of situation, his talent should be more impressive. How could they fail? How is that possible? Lu Qin and Mu Bing revealed doubtful expressions as well. Mu Bing stepped forward and comforted them. "Sect Master, just in time." Lu Qin also said, "That's right, it's just a god rare sect. What's the big deal? If you let me go, I will still not go." They thought that Long Fei would be very dejected, which would be a huge blow to them. However, this kind of attack was not even worth mentioning to Long Fei. "Didn't I tell you to go?" The right envoy shouted loudly, coldly glared at Long Fei, and said, "Trash talent 0. And you still have the nerve to stay here? If it was me, I would have already found a place with no one to die." Long Fei remained indifferent. He needed this exam. He needed to enter the God Rare sect, because only by entering the God Rare sect would he be able to find a way to leave it, and only he would be able to find a way for his mother to leave the Devil Island. Thus, what was this humiliation? At this time, some ridiculing remarks came from the Lan clan disciples. "If it doesn't work, then it doesn't work. What are you waiting for? Mudskin dog. That's right. What kind of great figure do you really think you are? If the patriarch didn't spend the money to invite a messenger, would he have the qualifications to enter the assessment?" "Exactly. Kid, can you not waste everyone's time?" Many people mocked him in low voices. At first, they thought that Long Fei was strong and had an outstanding inherent skill, but now they thought that he was the same as them. There was nothing to respect. The weak did not deserve the respect of others. Lanya coughed lightly and said, "Calm down, all of you." Lanya looked at Long Fei and asked, "Big Brother Long?" At this time, Long Fei stood in place and thought about it. The idea slightly moved and said, "Sister, please help me." The Sleeping Beauty had been sound asleep inside Long Fei's space ring. Hearing Long Fei's call, her eyes slightly opened as she stretched herself and muttered, "What's wrong?" "Master," Long Fei said, "I need to increase my talent a little. Is there any way to change that?" The Sleeping Beauty thought for a moment and said, "Cheating? Hee hee. I like it. Leave it to me." The Sleeping Beauty giggled and said, "Put your hand on it later. You can release as much of its intense light as you want. I can do it even if you want to. Hee hee." Long Fei was secretly happy. He then looked at the right envoy and said, "Sir Envoy, can you give me another chance? I wasn't prepared just now." Without waiting for Long Fei to speak, the right envoy shouted, "The Spirit God Blackstone test will not be wrong. You are either a dragon or an insect, can be detected in one try, so don't waste everyone's time. You are just a piece of trash." The last sentence was one word at a time, especially the word trash. You understand? You should be aware of being a trash. Understand? The envoy from the right said again. Long Fei secretly clenched his fists. Lanya immediately took out a bag of divine spirit pills and handed it over to left envoy. "Sir, can we try to harmonize it a bit and give him another chance?" This bag contained 200 divine spirit pills. This was equivalent to the Lan clan's income for the better half of a year. Many people had noticed this, especially those elders. Their expressions had all darkened, and they were somewhat displeased. The wealth of the Lan clan was not squandered like that. However, Lanya's eyes were very firm. The key was that she trusted Long Fei. Left envoy weighed the bag and smiled. "It seems that clan leader Lan values him a lot. Since you value him so much, why don't we make a bet?" As he spoke, his eyes continuously moved about on Lanya's chest. There was lust in his eyes. Lanya saw everything, but he could only pretend that he did not know anything, and respectfully asked, "Master, what are you betting on?" Left envoy laughed. "If I win, you accompany me tonight. If I lose, this divine spirit pill will be returned to you. What do you think?" Lei Jiu immediately said, "No." Left envoy didn't even look at Lei Jiu. He was completely focused on Lanya and said with a smile, "Patriarch Lan, what do you think?" "Of course. You don't have to bet, but he won't have a second chance to test it out. If he didn't want to bet, then he wouldn't give Long Fei a second chance." Betting or not, Lanya was conflicted. The Blackstone would not make a mistake in the test, but why did Long Fei need to test it a second time? Lei Jiu said loudly once again, "Little sister yet don't agree to her request." Left envoy laughed and said, "Clan leader Lan, hurry up and make a decision. My time is very precious." "Patriarch, don't bet." "Chief, the test results have already come out. Even if we try again, the results would still be the same. Don't joke with yourself." "Patriarch, don't bet with him. You've already done enough for this kid. There's no need to throw yourself in." The entire clan objected. It was because this gamble was clearly impossible to win. However, Lanya clenched his fists tightly. He raised his eyes and looked at left envoy. "All right, I'll bet with you." "Ha ha ha." Left envoy immediately laughed loudly and said, "Clan leader Lan, then you must wash tonight and wait for me for nothing." "Ha ha ha." The right emissary stared at Long Fei and said, "Trash, come." "Who's the trash? Who's the trash?" Lanya had always felt that he owed Long Fei. Maybe this time was enough. She put herself in it all. Long Fei felt extremely grateful in his heart. He really needed this assessment, really, really badly. He had to do everything he could to enter the God Rare sect, because this was the only clue he had left of the Devil Island. Patriarch, Lanya, you have truly disappointed us. Lanya, our Elders Pavilion has unanimously decided that we will reassess your ability to make decisions regarding the position of Patriarch. Just wait for him to abdicate. Many elders said fiercely. The elders from the Elders Pavilion were also fuming, smoke rising from their heads. Lanya didn't care. She looked at Long Fei and smiled faintly. Legio's heart ached slightly. Trash, hurry up. The right envoy sneered once again. Long Fei's brows sank. He said trash on the left and heard trash on the right, making him exceptionally irritated. He took a step forward and said, Emissaries, they have made a bet. Why don't we do it too? The right envoy was stunned and said, What do you have to bet? You don't have a single decent thing on you. What do you have to bet on? Shua. Long Fei immediately took out the Tyrant Devil Sword and asked, How is it? The right envoy's eyes turned cold, and he practically shouted out in an instant, Good sword. Left envoy's eyes also darkened as a bright light flashed through them. The right envoy wanted to catch him, but was immediately pulled back by Long Fei, who asked, Do you want to bet or not? Left envoy smiled slightly. How do we bet? Long Fei said, If I pass the test, then I will win. My victory will be very simple. I only need you to say, I am trash 3 times loudly. If I lose, this sword will be yours. The right envoy's eyes turned cold as he laughed. Kid, if it wasn't for that sword, you would already be a dead man by now. Long Fei said, Don't speak so much nonsense. Do you want to bet or not? Bet. The envoy from the right shouted, That sword is already mine. Long Fei said, You won't default, right? It doesn't matter if you violate the rules, but if you do, then you're not even comparable to trash. The right envoy's eyes darkened. He was clearly angry as he said in a low voice, Don't think that I don't understand the meaning behind your words. Kid, it's best if you don't act arrogantly in front of me. Otherwise, I will make you regret coming to this world. At this moment, Long Fei pressed his hand on the spirit god realm Blackstone. The Blackstone was not moved, smiled at the same time. I lost. We're definitely going to lose. It's impossible for the spirit god realm to have a mistake with the Blackstone. There's still a second chance. He's a retard. The envoy was right. Trash is trash. Motherf asterisk cur. Lon Clan's face is about to be thrown away by him. You even want to test for a hammer. Blackstone definitely would not make a mistake. However, this was in front of others, in front of Long Fei. It would make a mistake, just when everyone thought that Long Fei would lose. Just when everything was the same as the first time, the Blackstone suddenly glowed a little. The eyes of the 2 left and right envoys immediately shook. The mocking voices from the top and bottom of the Lon clan instantly stopped as well. All of them stared fixedly at the spirit god Blackstone, that tiny bit of light becoming stronger. Buzz. The first section was completely lit. Boom. The second section is fully lit again. Buzz. The third section followed suit. To be able to achieve all 3 sections. This meant that he had reached the standard of a 3rd grade talent. However, and this was not the end, the light continued to climb. Everyone was shocked. The 4th section has also lit up. Section 5. The 6th section. It's all lit up. It's all lit up. Section 7. The 8th section. My God, how is this possible? Could it be that a peerless genius with grade 9 talent is about to appear? A sensation. If they found a 9th grade innate ranker, they would receive 10,000 contribution points. This would be a large amount of contribution points in the God Rare sect, and with just these 10,000 contribution points, they would be able to exchange for an elder's entry. It's still climbing, still rising. Boom. Section 9 is lit up. Oh my God, a peerless genius with a 9th rank talent. How is this possible? They were all scared silly. Rarely was a grade 9 talent out of a trillion. Isn't this too crazy? However, and this is not the end, the light continued to rise. No, impossible. Right emissary's face was flushed red. He was so excited that he felt like he was about to explode. Seeing the light continue to rise, he even forgot to breathe. His eyes were as wide as an ox. 10 rating gift. Oh my God! There are not many people in the entire ancient holy battlefield. If it is 10 rating gift, then that person must be a powerhouse. This is too terrifying. The left and right envoys were scared silly. They had done a lifetime of recruiting disciples, and at most they had only seen a 6th grade talent disciple. Now that a 9th grade talent had appeared, their hearts would not be able to withstand it. Boom. A loud and clear sound rang out. The 10th section lit up. The entire hall was silent. Dead silence, not a sound. Left envoy could not help but walk up to him. He looked at Long Fei as if he was looking at his own father. 10 rating gift. 10 rating gift. I'm rich. Ha ha ha. He laughed. The envoy from the right also laughed out loud in excitement. A 9th grade talented disciple can get 10,000 contribution points. How much can a disciple from the 10 rating gift get? At least vice sect master level. Ha ha ha. The two of them were ecstatic. During this time, Long Fei looked at the right envoy and asked, "Who is the trash now?" The right envoy laughed and said, I am trash. I am trash. I am trash. Ha ha ha. I've never seen someone like you before. To be so happy while admitting that you're trash, it seems like you really are a trash. Long Fei laughed in disdain. At this time, the idea also moved. Buzz. Buzz. Suddenly, the building collapsed. The light on the black stone lessened bit by bit, and its speed of descent was extremely fast. It fell down almost instantly. It stopped directly above the 3rd section of light. This sudden turn of events stunned the two emissaries. They were dumbfounded. It was as if they had instantly fallen from heaven to hell. That feeling, it was too hard. They couldn't react in time. The two of them shouted at the same time, "No!" However, the light only stopped at 3 sections. It did not move. Long Fei moved his hand, and it was still at the 3rd section. Not moving. The Sleeping Beauty giggled and said, "The feeling of cheating is really good. However, Master, do you need the 10 rating gift?" Chapter 1737. Goddess Sect met with an accident. Chapter 1737. Goddess Sect met with an accident. Master, do you need the 10 rating gift? The Sleeping Beauty asked seriously. She was an omnipotent existence. The scene of the 9-dragon coffin was still fresh in Long Fei's mind. That scene was the deepest that Long Fei had ever experienced in his entire life. Moreover, Long Fei was sure that the Sleeping Beauty did not belong to this plane. She belonged to an even more powerful plane, one that was called Universal Large World. The 100,000 planes controlled by the main temple were the size of a speck of dust within the Universal Large World. Can it be upgraded? Long Fei asked in his heart. The Sleeping Beauty said, "As long as you want it, I can help you improve. Talent enhancement is very important to you as well. Cultivating, comprehending, and mastering cultivation techniques are all helpful. Although I don't know how you cultivate or break through, talent is very important to every martial artist. The Sleeping Beauty also did not know about the existence of the system. Although she knew that Long Fei was special, she didn't know what was called a system. Long Fei said, "Then what are we waiting for? We don't want the 10 rating gift. Come at me." The Sleeping Beauty said, "It can't be that fast. I need to slowly change your body, but the people from Main Temple are really outrageous. You actually didn't receive any rewards for breaking through the tower question of Goddess. For breaking through a plane, your physical body should have become stronger, but it's the same as the one in Chaos Realm. There's no change at all." "Damn." Long Fei said, "It's all right, whatever they give me. I will repay them 100-fold. Let's first talk about the matter of the transformation, shall we? How long does the 10 rating gift need?" Sleeping Beauty was silent for half a minute, then said, 3 minutes. Poochie. Long Fei almost spurted blood. He thought that it would take several years of time, and said in shock, 3 minutes? Damn it. Isn't this too abnormal? The Sleeping Beauty stuck out her tongue and said, "The 10 rating gift is not the strongest inherent skill. It is only a small foundation. I want to turn you into the talent potential of a heavenly emperor and cause the powerhouse in the world to tremble for you." Hee hee. The 10 rating gift was just the beginning. Moreover, it was just a small foundation. This was the tempo of going crazy. Long Fei secretly clucked his tongue and said, "All right, as long as you're happy." Long Fei wasn't interested in anything related to talent at all. Talent? Can you eat it? To him, it would be better to have a wave of experience. He didn't need talent to cultivate. He didn't need talent to level up. His skill did not require talent. The system was his strongest talent. What Heavenly Emperor powerhouse? Even God Emperor's talent was only trash in front of the system. 3rd rank. How did it become a grade 3-1? It was clearly the 10 rating gift just now. What? How could it be like this? The right emissary stared at Long Fei fiercely, as if Long Fei had destroyed his vice sect leader's dream. Long Fei shrugged. "How would I know? You, kid, what the hell are you up to?" Left Envoy also shouted. The Blackstone test would definitely not be wrong, and the scene just now would not happen. It was obviously the 10 rating gift, but it suddenly became a 3rd grade inherent skill. Isn't this way too much? It was as if his dream had been instantly shattered. This kind of attack was too strong. It was so painful that he could not even breathe. Long Fei said, "What tricks can I do?" But a 3rd grade talent has already reached the qualifying line. You've lost. Of course. Just now, our Lord Right Envoy had already admitted that he was trash. As for Lord Left Envoy, he should be returning the Divine Spirit Pill to the Lan Clan Lord, right? Otherwise, you're not even as good as trash. The Right Envoy's eyes turned sinister as he shouted, "Impudent! Kid, I think you're tired of living. 10 rating gift can indeed make us respect you by 3 points, but you actually dare to act so wildly here with your 3rd stage inherent skill? You are just a piece of trash. Understand?" Grade 3 cultivation didn't require him to show any face. The corner of Long Fei's mouth lifted and said, "I'm trash. Then what are you?" The Right Envoy wanted to get angry. However, the Left Envoy stopped him and sent a sound transmission to him. "There is something strange about this guy. Don't get angry so quickly. Furthermore, his devil's sword is pretty good. Let us keep him here first." The Right Envoy's expression changed slightly as he suppressed the anger in his body. "Brat, you passed. Next." Long Fei said, "What do you mean calculated? I'm clearly qualified." Left Envoy walked back to Lanya's side and returned the package of Divine Spirit Pills to Lanya as he said with a slight smile, "It seems that Patriarch Lan and I are fated to be together. However, Clan Leader Lan, I really want to know how you knew he would pass the 2nd exam." If you can tell me that, I will give you a spot that can't be assessed and directly become an outer disciple of the God Rare sect. Left Envoy really wanted to know this. Long Fei's body was simply too mysterious. It was impossible to control the spiritual god's perception stone with just a mere 6-star cultivation. Furthermore, the demon's sword in his hand was not an ordinary one. How could it have landed in his hands? It was all too strange. Lanya looked at Long Fei and faintly said, "Because he's called Long Fei." Long Fei. Left Envoy chanted the 2 words Long Fei in his heart. He felt it to be weird, as though he had never seen this name before. Where? In the secret history of the God Rare sect. In some ancient book? I can't remember. Left Envoy looked at Long Fei very seriously and muttered, "Brat, no matter what secret you have, this daddy won't care, because on the way to God Rare sect, then you will die." Lu Qin, 4th grade inherent skill, qualified. Next, Mu Bing, 4th grade inherent skill, qualified. Next, Li Ru Hua, 7 rank talent. As soon as he finished, another violent tremble. A person who had never cultivated much was actually a 7th grade inherent skill. Even Li Ruhua himself was stupefied. He simply did not know about this kind of situation. Long Fei thought about the Heaven's Awakening token that Li Ruchao had given him and asked himself, did the powerhouse find out at that time that Li Ruhua's talent was extraordinary? A short day of testing has ended. The ones who had met the standards were Lei Jiu, Long Fei, Lu Qin, Mu Bing, and Lan Feng, a total of 6 people. This is only a preliminary test, only a standard to be able to participate in the God Rare sect assessment. You guys wait here for 3 days. We're going somewhere else. We'll come pick you up in 3 days. The right envoy said, lightly. Long Fei looked at Li Ruhua. Li Ruhua immediately understood and went forward to ask, "Elder, may I ask where can you guys go to recruit disciples?" She was a grade 7 genius disciple. The left and right envoys was more courteous towards her and said, "The Tang clan and also has an East Sky Gate tribe. I heard that this year the Tang clan has produced a genius, and if it wasn't for the Tang clan being closer to this place, he really wouldn't have come to this Tianyan city." "Just you wait." Left envoy glanced at Long Fei and revealed a slight smile. Then the 2 of them became 2 rays of light and disappeared into the horizon. It was also at this time a flame soared high in the sky from a distant mountain. "Exploding," Lu Qin fiercely said. "Something has happened to the sect." Chapter 1738. Extreme Cruel. Chapter 1738. Extreme Cruel, several hundred kilometers away. Goddess sect. The 2 divine might pangolin frantically wreaked havoc on the ground, causing the goddess sect's underground palace to become a mess. The instant they escaped from the ground, the East Sky Gate tribe disciples instantly crushed them. As long as the old granny could barely resist, she would be ambushed by the East Sky Gate tribe's sect leader and heavily injured in one move. The whole process took less than 10 minutes. This time, without any warning, the East Sky Gate tribe suddenly went all out. It could be seen how furious he was when the East Sky Gate tribe suffered a crushing defeat. This time, the East Sky Gate tribe attacked. And the reason why he had found the location of the goddess sect's underground palace was because of a single person, Tang Lai. The last time he was chased out of goddess sect by Long Fei, he was exceptionally unhappy in his heart. The woman whom he was about to get his hands on was unhappy and resentful because of Long Fei's interference. Tang Lai walked in front of the pale old lady and said, "Old Granny, tell me, where is Mu Bing?" The old granny stared at Tang. "Lai, I don't know." "Old thing, you're still being stubborn at a time like this." As Tang Lai spoke, he stepped on the old granny's chest with all his might. uffed. The granny spat out a mouthful of black blood. The faces of the surrounding female disciples all changed, and they scolded loudly. Tang Lai, I never thought that you would be this kind of person, a despicable and sinister villain. To think that we even compared you to our sect leader. You're not even qualified to carry our sect leader's shoes. Tang Lai, quickly release our grandma. You beast. They were angry at Tang Lai and also angry at themselves. Why didn't he clearly see Tang Lai's face earlier? Tang Lai grinned and laughed complacently, saying, sinister and despicable? Ha ha ha. The East Sky Gate tribe and my Tang clan have always been in an alliance. The last time I chased them away, it was to get close to you guys, but I did not expect you two to recognize a trash as sect master. He's a piece of trash, the old granny exclaimed. You're the trash. Those female disciples said at the same time, Tang Lai, you're the trash. You can't even compare to our sect master. The corner of Tang Lai's eyes turned cold. He lifted his right leg, and pong! With a heavy stomp, a bone below the grandma's chest was broken from the stomp. The grandma was trembling in pain as black blood continued to gush out from her mouth. Tang Lai sneered and said, Who's the trash? Quickly tell me, where is Mu Bing and that trash? The reason he came this time was to kill Long Fei and bring him away. The reason why he had been quiet for so long was precisely to obtain Mu Bing's favor. Now, he did not want to do that anymore. There were many things in this world that could be obtained by simply using the power of one's fist. If one could not obtain a person's heart, then they could obtain a person's body. The old granny said hoarsely, I don't know. Indeed, she did not know. Even if she did know, she would not tell him. At this time, a disciple walked out from the underground palace and whispered something into the ears of the East Sky Gate tribe's sect leader. His expression changed slightly, walked up to the old granny, and shouted, Where is the goddess scroll? If you hand it over, I can spare your lives. If not, East Sky Gate tribe's goal was the goddess scroll. The grandma showed her blood-stained teeth as she laughed. I don't know either. If you're capable, you'll kill me now. Old thing, you think I don't dare? Lord of East Sky Gate tribe took a step forward, the sword in his hand directly striking between the old granny's eyebrows. The granny did not move. His gaze didn't change, as if he wasn't afraid of death at all. When the sword was just half a centimeter away from the old granny's forehead, Lord of East Sky Gate tribe suddenly retracted, coldly laughed, and said, You want to die? It's not that easy, Tang Lai also said. Clan Master, the goddess scroll should be on that trash. If we can find him, we will definitely be able to get the goddess scroll. The kid that killed my elder? Lord of East Sky Gate tribe asked. Tang Lai nodded his head. That's him. I just don't know where he's hiding now. Tang Lai looked at the old granny once again. His right leg relaxed slightly and said, Old thing, why must you suffer? As long as you tell me his whereabouts, I will immediately release you and promise not to make things difficult for you. The old granny spat out a mouthful of blood, looked at Tang Lai, and said, I don't know. F***CK. Tang Lai burst out in vulgarities. His eyes turned sinister as he bellowed, Old thing, you really don't care about face, right? As soon as he finished, Tang Lai walked to the front of a goddess sect disciple and smacked down with his palm. Bam! His palm struck at the top of his head, causing it to crack. Blood trickled out of his 7 orifices, and without any struggle, he collapsed to the ground, dead. He was in an extremely miserable state. Senior Sister Lu, Tang Lai, you beast. Tang Lai revealed a sinister expression and said, Speak, where did that brat go? 3 seconds passed. No one said anything. In that moment, Tang Lai slammed his palm down once again, and another goddess sect disciple fell. He shouted out once again, Old thing, quickly tell me. Tears welled up in the grandma's eyes as she looked at the female disciples. They were all like granddaughters. She was the one who personally taught them cultivation and everything. Yet now, she was going to die in front of him. "Grandmother, don't say anything. We're not afraid. We're not afraid." As they spoke, their bodies were also trembling nonstop. Who wouldn't be afraid of death? Tang Lai grinned and said, "Since you're not afraid of death, then all of you go and die." Buzz. The long sword vibrated, and a humming sound could be heard. Tang Lai sneered. "Old thing, I'll give you one last chance. As long as you tell me where that brat is, they won't have to die, and I'll exchange 13 of them for that piece of trash's life. This transaction is very worth it." The old granny clenched her fists, gritting her teeth so hard that they crackled. In the end, she said, "I don't know." Tang Lai's eyes turned cold. "Humph. Then I'll use them to cultivate my Tang Sect's heavens and sword art." Buzz. As a strong wind rose, the long sword in Tang Lai's hands danced, and countless sword lights appeared in the air like a gigantic sword formation, falling down one strike after another. With each move, one disciple fell. The 13 female disciples all fell to the ground in less than half a minute. "Ha ha ha." Lord of East Sky Gate Tribe smiled faintly and said, "Junior Master's sword technique is truly amazing. I can't even see where you can draw your sword." In this area, the Tang clan was considered to be in existence at the level of a hegemon. Tang Lai withdrew his long sword and revealed a pleased smile, saying, "Ha ha, Sect Master thinks too highly of me." And then Tang Lai stared at the old granny and said, "Old thing, it's your turn now." Chapter 1739, Death Ray. Chapter 1739, Death. Ray, the old granny, did not care about death. The deaths of these female disciples caused her heart to feel as if 10,000 swords had pierced through it, and it was incomparably painful. Lord of East Sky Gate Tribe walked over and said, "I heard that the people from the goddess sect are all carrying distress bombs, so we should go find them. Why don't we let them come find us?" The grandma's gaze immediately tensed up. When Tang Lai saw the change in the old granny's expression, he immediately said, "Ha ha ha. The sect leader is really meticulous." Lord of East Sky Gate Tribe shouted, "Search his body." "Sovereign, a signal detonator has been discovered." "I found it too. Here too." Before long, they had found 7 signal bombs. "Fire." I believe that Brat would definitely rush back if he saw the signal detonator. Lord of East Sky Gate Tribe stared at the old granny and sneered, "Old thing, we will set a trap here and wait for that brat to fall into our trap." Ha! Swoosh! Rumble! A brilliant firework exploded in midair. Swoosh! Another firework exploded. The 7 signal bombs exploded in midair. The signal detonator had been fired and was now waiting. The Lord of East Sky Gate Tribe shouted, "Prepare yourself. We'll wait for that brat to fall into our trap." Tang Lai looked at the old granny with a face full of pride and said, "Old granny, you have held on to things for your entire life, and today you are going to die." Ha ha ha. And then Tang Lai said, "Lord Clan Master, in order to let that trash enter the encirclement, why not let your demon beast as slowly eat the corpses of the female disciples?" The old granny coughed anxiously and spat out a few mouthfuls of black blood as she bellowed, "Tang Lai, are you still a human? You are an animal. Something not as good as a beast, not letting go even after killing them, and even letting the demon beast tear their bodies apart and devour them. Just how cruel was that?" Tang Lai grinned and laughed. "Ha ha ha. Old thing, isn't this world where the strong preys on the weak? If you have the ability, then kill me and throw me to the demon beast to eat." Ha ha ha. Incomparable pride. the Lord of East Sky Gate tribe idea moved, and a few demon beasts immediately walked out slowly and sniffed at the corpses, and after receiving permission, they began to tear and bite. He opened his bloody mouth and bit off the head of a female disciple with one bite. The scene was extremely tragic. The old granny's tears flowed profusely as she wanted to drive away those demon beastess. However, she was also at the end of her life and was seriously injured, so much so that she could not even move a muscle. Tang Lai revealed an evil smile and said, "Brat, come quickly. Seeing this scene, you will definitely be very happy. Ah!" Everything was quiet. An hour passed. 2 hours passed. 6 hours passed. Tang Lai had lost his patience while waiting, and all the corpses of the female disciples had also been completely eaten by the demon beast. Lord of East Sky Gate tribe did the same as he walked out and said fiercely, "Old thing, hurry up and tell us where that brat went to." Since it had not appeared for so long, that could only mean one thing. Or maybe Long Fei did not see the signal flare. Or he did not care about the life and death of Goddess Sect at all. Tang Lai's face was also filled with anger as he said, "Old Granny, did you see that? That brat didn't care about your lives at all. To think you would care so much about him. What about now? He's just a useless person who fears death." The granny's face was incomparably pale as she faintly smiled. "He won't come back." Cough, cough, cough. The laughter was too exciting. Another series of coughs, and blood gushed out. The grandma laughed happily. She had always been worried that Long Fei would return, but she didn't see him return. Long Fei was the old master's child. He had a long way to go, so he definitely could not stay here. Humph. "Old thing, do you think you've won?" Tang Lai was enraged. He stomped his foot and said, "If he doesn't come, you will die." Bam! The old granny's body caved in, her eyes opened from the pain, and her wounds split open once again. Blood gushed out, but she was still smiling, very happy. Tang Lai was enraged. Bam! Another heavy stomp landed. Crack! Another few bones were broken. The old granny coughed continuously, the smile still on her face. Her eyes slowly dimmed. Her body gradually stiffened as she looked into the distance. There was hope in his eyes. Dead. Tang Lai did not stop there. He stomped his foot down. Old thing, it's all because of you. If not for you, Mu Bing would have been my woman a long time ago." Bang, bang, bang. He stomped his feet on the ground. Even if he died, he would not let it go. Lord of East Sky Gate tribe's forehead also turned sinister. With the old lady's death, the whereabouts of Goddess Sect's spirit treasure goddess scroll would become unknown. He had worked hard for more than 10 years for this item, but it all ended up in vain. He was also extremely angry in his heart. At this moment, a black shadow suddenly descended. Tang Lai's expression shook. "Second uncle? Why are you here?" The man said, "The messenger from God Rare Sect is here. Come with me to take the examination." God Rare Sect. Tang Lai's expression shook, and a bright light flashed. "Didn't you say that there is still a month of time? Why are you here earlier than expected?" The man said, "We don't know the specific reason. You should go back and examine it first." And Tang Lai nodded, then stared at the old granny, spitting out sputum. "Old thing, I am about to become a disciple of God Rare Sect. If you can give me a dream to that brat, let him come to God Rare Sect to find me. See how I will kill him." As soon as he finished, Tang Lai quickly followed the man and left. There was nothing more important than the God Rare Sect's assessment. Not even Mu Bing. God Rare Sect, one of the Devil Islandess. As long as they could join the God Rare Sect, they would be able to soar into the sky. It was not difficult to become a disciple of the God Rare Sect with Tang Lai's talent. "Kid, Don't let me see you again. Otherwise, I will crush you into pieces with lightning-like might. Tang coldly snorted in his heart. Sovereign, are we still going to wait? Lord of East Sky Gate tribe looked at the color of the sky and exhaled, then said, There's no need to wait any longer. That brat will definitely not return. Also, when the messenger from the god Rare sect goes to the Tang family, his next destination will be our East Sky Gate tribe. I have to go back and make some preparations. The Lord of East Sky Gate tribe said indifferently, and then the people of East Sky Gate tribe all withdrew. 7 signal bombs. What happened? Something big must have happened. It must be the East Sky Gate tribe. Lu Qin was extremely anxious. Long Fei rushed to the front and increased his speed with all his might, thinking to himself, Old Granny, don't let anything happen to me. Tianyan City was too far away from the goddess sect. They wouldn't be able to make it in a short period of time. 10 hours later, and the other 2 arrived at the goddess sect. Looking at the scene in front of them, the rage on Long Fei's body flared up like a gigantic volcano. Chapter 1740, Long Fei Enraged. Chapter 1740, Long Fei Enraged. The roar was filled with boundless rage. The aura from Long Fei's body also quickly spread out like a volcanic eruption. The strength stripes that was visible to the naked eye shot out. One after another. In the forest, the flying beasts were alarmed, and the demon beast crawled on the ground. The few wolves surrounding the old granny's corpse were so shocked by the sound of Long Fei's voice that their heart broke, and they immediately vomited blood and died. He was furious. Incomparable rage. This was the first time Long Fei was this angry in ancient holy battlefield. It wasn't easy to find a family member, a mother-in-law who treated him like her own grandson, and it wasn't easy to find someone related to his mother. However, he died in less than 5 days. Moreover, she died so miserably. Her body was bitten into pieces by those evil wolves, and her internal organs were all dug out. There was only a little bit of a smile on her face from beginning to end. That kind of happy, kind smile. Grandma! Grandma! Lu Qin and Mu Bing's tears flowed profusely as they instantly pounced on him. Long Fei clenched his fists tightly, causing his joints to crack, his teeth to crack, and killing intent to surge. It was incredibly thick. His long white hair automatically scattered. It moved with the wind. In an instant, his pupils turned blood red. Long Fei asked in a gloomy voice, Where is East Sky Gate tribe? His voice was cold, extremely cold. Mu Bing wiped away her tears and said, I know. At this moment, Lu Qin stopped Mu Bing and said, Sect Master, we cannot go. Although Lu Qin was furious, she was very clear on the East Sky Gate tribe's strength. If the 3 of them were to go, there would only be one outcome, death. She was still awake. The reason why this old granny still had a smile on her face when she died was because Long Fei hadn't returned. It was because the people from East Sky Gate tribe didn't catch him. And that way, the goddess sect wouldn't have died. There was still hope. However, Long Fei did not care about all that. His anger had already reached his brain, and he only had one thought in his mind, kill. Long Fei took a step forward, directly landing in front of Lu Qin, shouted once, and said, Don't waste your breath on me. Lead the way immediately. Faster. It was almost a roar. Lu Qin's heart trembled slightly. The aura that erupted from Long Fei's body was truly too frightening. In addition, his blood-colored eyes and his flying white hair looked too frightening, causing fear in one's heart and making them not dare to look directly at him. Mu Bing also woke up and said, Sect Master, Senior Sister is right, we are not his match, we cannot go. Don't talk to me like that. Just tell me the location of the East Sky Gate tribe. Long Fei glared, with incomparable savagery. The anger in his heart had to be vented out. In this plain of the ancient holy battlefield, this was the first time Long Fei showed such an intense desire to kill. He had been holding a ball of anger in his heart all this time. Fury towards the destiny god. The old granny's death ignited the anger within him. He could not control the urge to kill. Lu Qin shook his head. I can't go. Mu Bing shook his head in fear. I can't go. The two of them were really afraid of Long Fei's current state. He couldn't control it at all, just like a demon beast that had gone berserk. That kind of berserk mode only contained killing intent and revenge. If this state continued, East Sky Gate tribe would be courting death. It had to be known that it was a sect, not just one or two people. You won't tell me, right? You won't tell me, right? Long Fei roared fiercely and said, All right, I'll look for it myself. And then Long Fei's body shot out, and so directly jumped into the forest. As he ran, he roared loudly, You bastard from East Sky Gate tribe, get the hell out here. You bastard from the East Sky Gate tribe, get the hell out here. Ah. He was venting crazily. Mu Bing and Lu Qin started to worry secretly. Senior sister, I'll go chase after the sovereign. You handle the affairs of my grandma. Mu Bing was extremely worried for Long Fei. With his current aura and his incomparably savage killing intent, he would definitely be in danger if he encountered a strong demon beast. Long Fei's current state was like a live target in the forest where the demon beast roamed. Many demon beasts would come over after smelling Long Fei's scent. The more brutal the aura, the more powerful the demon beast would be, and once surrounded, it would be hard for Long Fei to escape death. Mu Bing chased after him at full speed. Long Fei's aura did not weaken in the slightest. Blood-red eyes and silvery white long hair shuttled back and forth within the forest like a giant devil. You bastard from the East Sky Gate tribe, come out! Come out! Long Fei roared. Mu Bing shouted from not far away, Sect Master, wait for me, Sect Master. At this moment, Long Fei lost his mind. Like a headless fly, he flew around randomly and hit everywhere. He did not have a sense of direction at all, and directly ran towards the deepest part of the forest. Mu Bing, who was behind him, became increasingly worried. Roar! Suddenly, a loud roar echoed out from within the depths of the forest, shaking the entire mountain. Mu Bing's eyes darkened. Crap! However, Long Fei completely disregarded that and shouted out the same thing, Get the hell out here! Roar! Rumble! Rumble! Immediately after, a few heart-piercing roars sounded out from the depths of the forest. These were all great demon beasts, and they hid deep in the mountains, harboring a deep hostility towards humans. Moreover, this kind of demon beast would definitely not be controlled by anyone. Even if Long Fei were the king of beasts, he wouldn't be able to summon them. Boom! Suddenly, with a loud noise, dust filled the sky in the mountain forest, and the towering trees were like a bulldozer that had been pushed to the ground. They came rolling towards Mu in an incomparably ferocious manner. Sovereign, be careful! Mu Bing shouted loudly. However, Long Fei acted as if he heard it. Seeing the dust that filled the sky, he revealed an excited smile and rushed forward, shouting, Scram! There was no fear. There was only killing intent. Long Fei had to let go. Roar! With a loud noise, the dust in the sky rolled over like a wave of air, instantly blocking their line of sight. At the same time, a huge object suddenly stood up from within the dust. It was over 30 meters long, and the one on the 10th floor was enormous. It was an extremely pitch-black pincer worm covered in thick rock armor. Two extremely sharp claws shot towards Long Fei. It was as fast as lightning. Furthermore, with the huge aura of that fellow crushing Long Fei, he was able to completely crush Long Fei. However, Long Fei was even more crazy than it was. Without saying anything further, he cursed loudly, F***CK, your grandpa. Hurricane burst boxing. A punch was thrown out. It directly hit the centipede's pincer. Boom. A long gash appeared on the head of the pincer insect, and it was instantly killed. The system sounded out. Before Long Fei even had the chance to check how much experience he had gained, an even larger monster stood by his side. Boss, King Kong Fierce Bear. Chapter 1741, God's Armor, Broken. Chapter 1741, God's Armor, Broken Huge Object. Thick steel armor covered his body as he stood proudly in the midst of the sand and dust. His front limbs were all standing there like a dark mountain. At this moment, when Mu Bing arrived, he immediately stopped breathing, opened his eyes wide, and slowly looked up. His heart rate sped up, and his body started trembling uncontrollably. Bear King. Bear. Diamond Bear. Bear King. His voice trembled. Sovereign, don't move. Don't move. Please don't move. The bear's eyesight is bad. As long as you don't move, he won't be able to see you. Your aura should also be withdrawn. Mu Bing whispered. She was extremely worried. In his current state, Long Fei basically could not listen to what she had to say. Right now, he wanted to vent his anger. Don't submit, just do it. Long Fei raised his head and looked at the boss King Kong Fierce Bear. Wiping the bridge of his nose, his eyes widened and shouted, I don't care what you are, but if you block my way, you will die. Roar. The King Kong Fierce Bear suddenly opened its mouth and roared. Rumble, rumble, rumble. The air seemed to explode as the entire valley trembled. Strong gales were stirred up. The strong wind blew past like sharp blades, and at this moment, the dust and sand also disappeared. The entire body of the King Kong Fierce Bear was revealed, hair like a steel needle. Its 4 limbs were like pillars, and it wore a thick layer of steel armor on its body. The steel armor shone with a white light under the scorching sun, making it appear exceptionally dazzling. It even wore a helmet on its head. Just like the bear in the Golden Compass, the King Kong Fierce Bear in front of him was countless times bigger. Moreover, extreme brutality. His aura was from the primal level, incomparable valiance. Ding! Suddenly, a system notification rang out. System prompt, subdue or kill. A choice box appeared in Long Fei's mind. One was to subdue, and the other was to kill. Long Fei did not make a choice. He made a decision based on his actions. With a single step, he jumped onto a towering tree. With another leap, rushing up to the sky. If I don't have the blasting fist, I'll still kill you. Long Fei roared out. He was in a berserk state and was fearless. Whoever was in his way, no matter if it was a person or a demon beast, they were all in his way. Do it! Seeing Long Fei rushing out, Mu Bing's face changed, and he exclaimed in his heart, Not good! In the air, before Long Fei could rush to the front of the violent bear, a gigantic bear paw print came smashing down. Poochie! Boom! Long Fei's body exploded downwards from midair, and a circular energy shockwave continuously shot out from the void. This power, it was as if he was unrivaled. God's armor. Long Fei clenched his teeth and activated the defense of the god's armor. Rumble! Crashing to the ground. Long Fei's entire body felt as if it was being torn apart, and it was so painful that he could hardly breathe. In that few seconds, he almost could not feel his own body. A giant crater with a diameter of 50 meters appeared beneath him. Ding! The god's armor is broken. Buzz. Suddenly, the god's armor disappeared from his body. Defense, health point, all the attributes brought by the god's armor disappeared. With a single palm strike, he shattered the god's armor's defense of 10,000 points. How strong was his strength? He was so strong that he looked like he was about to explode. If not for the protection of the god's armor, Long Fei would have been reduced to a pile of meat paste. Mu Bing's face was pale white. Seeing that Long Fei had been slapped down by the Bear King, her heart tightened and quickly ran up to him. Seeing that Long Fei was not moving at all in the middle of the huge pit, she immediately jumped into the pit and crawled as she ran, "Sect Master, Sect Master, Sect Master." The goddess Sect had already become like this. If Long Fei died again, then goddess Sect would really be dead. Mu Bing ran down the stairs, picked Long Fei up, and carried him in his arms as he yelled, "Sect Master, don't let anything happen to you. Don't. I won't allow anything to happen to you." Wow. Long Fei was almost unable to react in time. This girl, she's really crazy. At this moment, the King Kong Fierce Bear had wanted to leave initially because Long Fei would definitely not be able to survive the palm strike he received. He did not eat the dead, but when he saw Mu Bing running down, he stopped. Immediately, another palm ruthlessly struck down. This time, the sharp claws on his palm flashed with a cold light that was a meter long. If he was hit by this attack, his body would be split in half. Isn't his chest too crippled? Huh. Mu Bing suddenly realized that her chest was a little too big and had pressed down Long Fei's nose. Her face flushed red, but seeing that Fei Xing had woken up, she was happy. He didn't notice what was behind him. At this moment, the bear's paw was only a few meters away and could be said to have arrived in an instant. Long Fei suddenly stood up and blocked Mu Bing's path. His eyes darkened and roared out, "You F***er! You destroyed my god's armor. I'll skin that layer of skin off you. Holy Spirit Angel, come out. Holy Spirit Defense." The goddess scroll moved. The Holy Spirit Angel waved her beautiful angel wings, and her body floated in the air, releasing a ray of light on Long Fei's body. A magic shield appeared on Long Fei's body that only he could see. Bring it on. Long Fei leaned his body forward slightly. With a sudden move, he directly smashed towards the bear's paw. Seeing that Long Fei was still alive, the King Kong Fierce Bear was unhappy. Roar! Boom! 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 Asterisk it let out a furious roar, and under his palms, no one was alive. It was impossible for the demon beast to be, and it was even more impossible for humans. He was even more enraged. The power of the bear's paw became even stronger as its sharp claws cut through the air and slammed down heavily. Come! Rumble! Long Fei did not dodge, nor did he avoid. The moment the two forces collided, boom! Rumble! An incomparably loud sound was produced, and Long Fei's body was also instantly knocked flying. He knocked over a dozen huge trees that reached into the sky and carved a 100-meter-long ditch on the ground. A 3-figure damage also floated up above his head. F***CK. This daddy here is 99% immune to attacks and has over 200 damage. If not for Holy Spirit Defense, this daddy here would have died without even a scrap left. I don't believe it. Long Fei's body bounced and once again rushed forward. The King Kong Fierce Bear's second move still did not kill Long Fei, which made him even more displeased. He was the king on this mountain range, and under the authority of a king, he had to kneel down in everything. Bam! Bam! The King Kong Fierce Bear angrily rushed forward. Chapter 1742. This father doesn't believe in evil. Chapter 1742. This father doesn't believe in evil. Long Fei raged. The boss was also furious. This time, It all happened in an instant. The King Kong Fierce Bear and Long Fei once again collided head-on. This time, the King Kong Fierce Bear used its hardest part and smashed its head onto Long Fei's body. Rumble! Long Fei's body sprung, and every time he sprung, a powerful shockwave would erupt from his body, instantly erupting outwards. I will not die. Long Fei stood up once again, and with a roar, he would not die. Roar! The King Kong Fierce Bear suddenly stood up, its front claws furiously slapping at its chest, opening its mouth and roaring at Long Fei. It suddenly suppressed its body and crazily rushed forward. Boom! Boom! Everywhere his body went, it was a complete mess. 10,000 tons of rocks was equivalent to 10,000 tons of rocks. The towering tree was like a towering tree. In front of him, it was like dust that had directly smashed into everything. He had to say it. This guy made a fierce comparison. Long Fei continued to ponder. Will we kill him? Can't we kill him? His idea could not help but ask Holy Spirit Angel, can your Holy Spirit instantly kill it? A string of numbers frantically appeared in the Holy Spirit goddess mind. After calculating the number of injuries, she lightly said, No. Rob. Long Fei shouted in his heart, how powerful is this guy? He couldn't even kill the Holy Spirit in a second. If I knew earlier, I would have kept the blasting fist. Long Fei never thought that he would encounter such a ferocious fellow. The Holy Spirit defense's end time was almost up. If not for Holy Spirit defense, then Long Fei wouldn't even be able to block one of his moves and would be instantly killed. It can't be killed? Is there really no other way? Long Fei looked at the King Kong Fierce Bear that was continuously charging at him, and the distance between them was getting closer and closer. He couldn't help but frown. But he wasn't flustered, on the contrary. He was abnormally calm in his heart. Unknowingly, the hostility and killing intent in his body had also disappeared. His eyes became normal. The anger in his heart was extinguished by the King Kong Fierce Bear. There's also no metamorphic energy value. If that's the case, all right, since we can't kill you, we'll subdue you. Long Fei was shocked. Last time, the system short-circuited him and gave him a big gift pack with everything inside. They all had support skills. Moreover, all of them were divine level cultivation techniques from the ancient holy battlefield. Then let me witness the power of your divine level expert. Long Fei moved, continuously consuming several divine spirit pills. His holy power value rapidly rose, and in the instant the King Kong Fierce Bear arrived in front of Long Fei, Beast Mastery, buzz. He opened his right hand, and his left hand frantically formed a seal. A gigantic amount of divine force formed on Long Fei's body into something that resembled a lightning web covering the King Kong Fierce Bear's body and entering into its sea of consciousness. In that instant, Long Fei instantly sensed the King Kong Fierce Bear's sea of consciousness. His heart was shaken to the point of being a mess. The enormous sea of consciousness. He couldn't see the end of it, and it was vast and endless. The larger the sea of consciousness, the longer the demon beast cultivated. The cultivation time of the King Kong Fierce Bear must have been at least 1,000 years, which showed just how savage it was. Boom! The violent bear let out a roar and practically drove Long Fei's idea out of his consciousness in an instant, and in that instant smacked Long Fei down with a palm. Bam! He hit the ground directly. Uffed! Long Fei spat out a mouthful of blood, and his face turned pale white. It was incomparably painful. The eyes of the violent bear were filled with veins of blood. Long Fei's beast mastery made him extremely furious as his huge eyes stared straight at Long Fei, carrying a savage killing intent. Long Fei became even more unhappy and shouted, Even if I have the slightest chance of killing you, you will still die in front of me. Roar. The King Kong fierce bear seemed to understand Longfei's provocations. It released a burst of rage and suddenly stood up again, smashing down towards Longfei. Longfei rolled his body. Dragon step. Shwa. He jumped, jumping dozens of meters away, and in that instant, virtual mirror. Buzz, buzz, buzz. With a flash, the void door opened, and Longfei also entered in an instant, looking extremely miserable. Ding! Holy Spirit defense time is over. Longfei was heavily injured, and now all he needed was a light attack to kill him. No way! The beast's mastery cannot do it. His sea of consciousness is too big. It's simply impossible to control his idea. Longfei was thinking quickly within the void door. While he was thinking, the boss was not idle, but was wreaking havoc crazily. Within the range of his strength, dozens of void door were shattered. He was even more furious because he could not find Longfei. Roar. He roared at the ground. Clang, clang. Walala. Just like a mirror that was being broken, with one side crumbling and falling apart, the virtual mirror that did not even take half a minute had only a few left. At this time, Lu Qin rushed over, and looking at the mess around him, and then looking at the King Kong fierce bear, his eyes darkened. Bear King, senior sister. Mu Bing quickly shouted. She was still in the midst of the shock Longfei had caused when he had helped her block her attacks. She was scared silly, and when she saw Lu Qin, she immediately recovered. Lu Qin looked at the furious Bear King and asked, "Where is the sect master?" "Master?" Mu Bing stared blankly for a while before saying, "Sect master? Sect master. They were there just now, so they should be hiding." Lu Qin immediately shouted out loud, "Sect master, we will lure the Bear King away. You think of a way to escape yourself." The chi on Lu Qin's body was released. The sword moved, pointing at the King Kong fierce bear. He said, "Come, beast." The King Kong fierce bear suddenly turned and stared at Lu Qin with its huge eyes. At that moment, Lu Qin was immediately staring at the eyes of the King Kong fierce bear, unable to move. His mind was trembling nonstop. That kind of feeling was too terrifying. Just like how the powerhouse glared at him in anger. "Gudong!" Lu Qin swallowed his saliva and spoke again. "If you have the guts, come at me." Mu Bing also crawled out of the pit and shouted, "And me?" Longfei was their goddess sect master. Even if they were to die, they couldn't let Longfei die. Grandma died. So many senior sisters had died. Only the three of them were still alive. As long as Longfei was still alive, perhaps he could be like his mother and establish the goddess sect, allowing him to regain his former glory. Lu Qin made his choice without hesitation. Mu Bing shouted loudly, "Sect master, run quickly!" It was also at this time the King Kong fierce bear's hatred was successfully attracted to the two of them, and with a turn of its body, it crazily charged towards them. "Who? Stupid woman!" Longfei moved through the air and appeared in front of another void door in a flash. The void door that was set up in this position was used to protect Mu Bing. Now, Longfei's right hand quickly formed a seal, while his left hand also formed a seal. He released two different skills. "I don't believe it." Chapter 1743. Let's see who can be so arrogant to the very end. Chapter 1743. Let's see who can be so arrogant to the very end. "I don't believe this." Longfei stood in front of Lu Qin and Mu Bing, his brows tightly locked together. He wasn't sure, but he had to try. If they did not try, the two of them would die. It was impossible for the two of them to withstand an attack from a King Kong fierce bear alone. Longfei had to endure everything. "Master, master." The two girls shouted out at the same time. For some reason, the two of them felt that Long Fei was extremely great as they looked at his back, especially Mu Bing, whose heart was rippling like a flower. Perhaps this must be spring. Long Fei said slightly, "The two of you should leave now." Lu Qin and Mu Bing looked at each other, but did not leave. Instead, they took a step forward and stood in front of Long Fei, who said, "Sect Master, will accompany you?" Mu Bing nodded his head, and Long Fei's lips curled up slightly as he laughed. "Accompany me? What kind of accompanying method was this? 3? What's a 3 aces?" Lu Qin asked curiously. Long Fei laughed and said, "3 accompany is fine. Let's eat together. Let's drink together. In addition, and you also have to accompany me in rolling around the bed." Mu Bing's face flushed red as he said, "Sect Master, what time is it for you to still be thinking about such things? Not ashamed?" Lu Qin said very straightforwardly, "If we can survive, I'll accompany you." Then he muttered, "Anyway, I owe you a bedroll." Mu Bing looked at Lu Qin, then pouted her lips, revealing a look of determination. "I will also accompany you." "Ha ha ha." Long Fei laughed out loud and said, "Good, good, good. Then I must live on in a good manner. If not, how could I let you all accompany me? Bring it on." Long Fei frowned, his eyes staring straight at the King Kong fierce bear. He was extremely serious. Roar. The King Kong fierce bear roared in anger and opened its bloody mouth to pounce towards Long Fei and the other two. It wanted to swallow them whole in one go. Let's see who eats who. The idea moved. Long Fei released his spirit power, forming a gigantic electric net. He bellowed, "Beast mastery!" Buzz. Amongst the divine power, the idea quickly penetrated into the King Kong fierce bear's sea of consciousness. Any demon beast, including the people themselves, were the same. They hated people entering their own brain. Right now, the King Kong fierce bear was extremely unhappy. He let out a roar. His sea of consciousness surged, setting off an enormous wave that overflowed the heavens and directly slapped Long Fei's idea out of his sea of consciousness. Long Fei was also struggling. Rumble! 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 The ripples in his sea of consciousness became more and more intense, and the King Kong fierce bear was also getting closer and closer to Long Fei, about to crash into him. Lu Qin and Mu Bing stood quietly in front of Long Fei, their eyes slowly closing in this situation. The chances of them living were close to 0. He couldn't stop it at all. Long Fei also broke out in cold sweat, but his heart was abnormally calm. The more critical a situation was, the calmer one had to be. Just a bit more, just a bit more. The King Kong fierce bear's sea of consciousness flipped upside down. Long Fei's idea could not hold on any longer, and blood flowed out from the corner of his mouth. At the same time, Long Fei roared angrily as a drop of blood essence condensed from his finger and dripped onto the ground. At the same time, Long Fei formed a seal with his right hand and smashed it onto the ground. Blood essence as a guide, spiritual gate, open for me. Buzz. With Long Fei at the center, 8 runic rays quickly exploded outwards, forming a huge spirit communication formation. In that moment, the King Kong fierce bear landed inside the formation. It lost control of its sea of consciousness in an instant. The beast mastery was only a feint, making the King Kong fierce bear angry, making his sea of consciousness surge, making him lose his mind. This way, the success rate of using the spirit communication technique would greatly increase. But this was only a possibility. The chances of failure were very high. Buzz, buzz. Rays of divine light surged out from the rune and formed a powerful spirit communication formation. Long Fei's idea stood above the sea of consciousness of the King Kong fierce bear. What's the point of staying deep in the mountains? Come with me. Big Bro will bring you to see this world. I'll let you experience what a wonderful world looks like. Bring it on. The King Kong fierce bear was still struggling, going berserk and roaring, unleashing all of its original strength. The earth quaked and the mountains shook. The entire mountain range seemed to tremble. The 10,000 beasts growled. Long Fei's body also unceasingly trembled. He couldn't hold on for much longer. Take it head on. Even if he couldn't, he had to hold on because this was Long Fei's last chance. Either you die or I die. Long Fei clenched his teeth. His sea of consciousness was also trembling intensely. He could not take it anymore, and fresh blood kept flowing out of his mouth, making him feel extremely uncomfortable. Ah, ah, he bellowed. Let's see who can remain so arrogant. Long Fei went all out. When Lu Qin and Mu Bing heard the huge tremor, they, who were resigned to their fate, also opened their eyes. They saw that blood was continuously flowing out of Long Fei's mouth, then looked at the surrounding spirit communication formation. The King Kong fierce bear was frantically struggling. The two of them were a little dazed. What can we do? Master, what should we do? Long Fei's face was pale white. He felt as though he was at the end of his life, and said in a low voice, blood essence, use your blood essence, and pour it into my spirit communication formation. Quickly, quickly. He couldn't hold on any longer. Right now, Long Fei was carrying his life on his shoulders. Lu Qin and Mu Bing instantly condensed a drop of blood essence. The blood essence landed on the formation. A divine light was released. In that instant, Lu Qin and Mu Bing both felt the powerful strength of the King Kong fierce bear. That kind of powerful impact was something Long Fei had to bear. As the blood essence of the two of them poured in, Long Fei roared out, "Let's see how long you can last. Violent bear, come with me. Brother will take you to the divine battlefield. Do you want to stay here forever?" This was the battle for the psychic summon. It was also a psychological battle. On the edge of Long Fei's collapse, King Kong fierce bear was the same as well. Whoever could last one more second would have a chance of winning, even if Long Fei had the help of Mu Bing and Mu Bing. They were still weak. King Kong fierce bear's mental strength was too strong. "Come with me," Long Fei shouted out again. Roar. The King Kong fierce bear let out a furious roar. And then the idea loosened its grip. Long Fei's power of communication completely entered his body and instantly occupied his sea of consciousness and control his idea. At this moment, Long Fei did not replace his idea, but slightly said, "Sign the contract, and you will still be you. I will not control your thoughts." This was a gift. The King Kong fierce bear was slightly moved, and immediately after, a drop of its blood essence fell on the spirit communication formation. At the same time, a system notification rang out. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for successfully taming King Kong fierce bear. Huff! Long Fei's body went limp and he fell to the ground. Lying on the ground while gasping for breath, finally succeeded. Now, with him now, I can go and take care of the East Sky Gate tribe. Chapter 1744, 8-Level Talent, Super Genius. Chapter 1744, 8-Level Talent, Super Genius Tang Clan, Martial Arts Practice Field. All right. Oh my God. The spiritual god's test of the black stone has reached the 8th section. What does that mean? Number 1 genius. Big Brother Tang, Lai, is really too powerful. The heavens have blessed our Tang clan. The two envoys from God Rare sect also never thought that Tang Lai's talent potential would actually reach the 8th stage. This was undoubtedly a group of super geniuses. If this genius was brought back to the God Rare sect, they would receive a reward of 5,000 contribution points. Ha ha ha. It's about time for us to get lucky. Not only is there a 7th rank genius, there's also an 8th rank super genius. Ha ha ha. Left envoy laughed excitedly. Good, good, good. I finally got something out of this trip down the mountain. Ever since he left the Tianyin city, he had been feeling very unhappy. To admit that he was trash, he must have been tricked by Long Fei. If not for the things he had to do, he would have attacked Long Fei a long time ago. Tang Gao Yuan walked up and said, "Emissaries, I'll leave Liar to you." Left envoy immediately said, "Patriarch Tang, please rest assured. He will definitely become the elite disciple of God Rare sect, and in the future, he will definitely be at the top of the Devil Island. The 8th-level talent, an absolute genius. As long as he passes the examination and is directly accepted as a disciple by the Elder of Inner House, we will have to rely on him in the future." The status of disciples in Elder of Inner House was much higher than them. Tang Lai said, "Emissaries, please be at ease. In the future, Tang Lai, will definitely not forget about your nurturing." At this moment, Tang Gao Yuan's eyes moved slightly as an elder walked up with 2 cosmic bags in his hands. This is just a small matter, not worthy of respect. In addition, Tang Gao Yuan said, "I know that the 2 emissaries like virgins. Tonight, I have arranged for 8 to be placed for the 2 lords. They are all beautiful ladies of high beauty, all 16 years old, and have been trained well. The 2 lords will definitely be satisfied." For his son, Tang Gao had long since prepared everything. Even if his son did not meet the requirements to enter the God Rare sect, he would think of a way to bribe the 2 emissaries. No matter what, if the Tang family wanted to become stronger, Tang Lai had to enter the God Rare sect. Only in this way could the Tang clan become big and strong. A lewd smile surfaced on left and right envoy's face as he said, "Clan leader Tang is too courteous. Ha! You are more courteous than the Tianyin city. Only the women of the Lan clan are not enough to play around with. They died before they could enjoy themselves, so there's no meaning at all. Tonight, we can definitely have a big fight. Ha ha ha." The 2 emissaries laughed out loud. This was the case for Devil Island. Life is worthless. It didn't matter if you were a virgin or a holy maiden that was as pure as ice or jade. As long as you weren't strong enough, you would be ridden under the crotch. There were no rules in the Devil Island. Powerhouse is king. Tang Gao Yuan said, "The 2 sirs will definitely be satisfied. Please take care of Lai on the way." Left envoy said, "Don't worry, 8th-level talent. This year's competition's first place will be him. Even if we die, we won't let him get hurt at all." To them, Tang Lai was a treasure. There must be no accident. The left envoy said, "Clan leader Tang, it's getting late. We'll leave tomorrow morning with your son. If you have anything to say, you should hurry up and do it at night. In addition, we still have to make a trip to the East Sky Gate tribe tomorrow. Time is of the essence. Moreover, the Spring Festival Gala is worth 1,000 gold. We will leave first." While he was speaking, he was swallowing his saliva as though he was extremely thirsty. Tang Gao Yuan immediately said, "Lead the way." The 2 envoys swiftly left. Tang Lai looked into the distance, and a secret lock appeared between his eyebrows. Tang Gao Yuan said, "Liar, isn't it just a woman? What kind of woman do you want after you become a disciple of the God Rare sect? Furthermore, for a sect like the Goddess sect that does not flow in, disciples would definitely not be much either. She is simply not worthy of you. Tang Lai nodded his head. I understand. What you can't get is always the best. Tang Lai didn't really like Mu Bing, but he didn't get it. And adding the relationship with Long Fei, he was even more unhappy in his heart. Mu Bing, I will be leaving tomorrow. The next time we meet, you will definitely not be able to escape from my grasp, Tang Lai said fiercely in his heart. The 8th-level talent was destined to change everything. There would be a huge change in the trajectory of his life, and in his view, he might not be able to see Mu Bing again in this lifetime. They were people from 2 completely different worlds. Deep in the forest in the East Gate Valley. The forest was quiet without a single breath of life. In the dense leaves, Mu Bing pointed to the valley in front of them and said, Sect Master, East Sky Gate Tribe is right in this valley. Lu Qin said in a low voice, Sect Master, Grandma does not wish for you to take the risk. Furthermore, the power of the East Sky Gate Tribe is much stronger than what we have imagined. Long Fei's cultivation was still too low. 6-star cultivation base. This level of cultivation was truly not enough. Even if Long Fei had cultivated many arts and techniques, the East Sky Gate Tribe had more than one powerhouse. Long Fei said, I, Long Fei, have never tried to seek revenge overnight. If the East Sky Gate Tribe destroys my goddess sect, then I will destroy his entire clan. Determined below, Long Fei wanted to kill. East Sky Gate Tribe was too cruel to goddess sect. Long Fei could not take this lying down. Lu Qin let out a light breath and said, All right. And then Long Fei moved psychic technique. He immediately summoned the King Kong Fierce Bear. Because it was a spirit communication technique, the King Kong Fierce Bear was able to be summoned to be the size of a puppy, but he could control his own form. Long Fei said, Go to the side of the valley and lure the people from the East Sky Gate Tribe over. The King Kong Fierce Bear nodded and ran out. At this time, Long Fei checked the cooldown of the Hurricane Burst boxing and said, There's still 10 minutes, it should be enough. The metamorphic energy value is ready. Grandma, I will definitely avenge you. A few minutes later, roar. A loud sound echoed out. The King Kong Fierce Bear suddenly turned into its battle form, becoming extremely huge. It let out a roar, and the entire valley trembled. The East Sky Gate Tribe was instantly in a state of panic. Those demon beasts were all sprawled on the ground, not daring to move. Sovereign, it's the Bear King. It's the violent Bear King. The disciples of the East Sky Gate Tribe reported quickly. Lord of East Sky Gate Tribe's gaze tensed up. Why would the Bear King appear here? I don't care. Since he has delivered himself to my doorstep, then don't blame me for being impolite. Subdue him and gift him to the Lord Envoy. In that case, even if my East Sky Gate Tribe doesn't have any disciples who qualify, I can still buy a placing, right? Pass down my orders. Target Bear King, kill. You're tuning in to the Mystic Fist YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.